Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I am Kris Randazzo, and joining me tonight is exactly what I've been asking for, Dan Ryan.
Aw, that's great. That makes me happy.
Well, you know, I mean that in every way. It's time for the 10th Annual Golden Caveman Awards. Whose cuisine reigns supreme? Keep your JGLDs safe and warm, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now.
Fuck, we're supposed to be rating food? I haven't been able to taste shit for 6 months, Kris. That's not fair.
Just saying, I miss Iron Chef.
I do too. Mark Dacascos was killing it on that show.
Dude, taking a bite out of the pepper.
Oh, outstanding.
Good
Quiz
times.
on.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, Kodo.
Hello. This is episode 550. It is the week of January 24th, 2025. And welcome. For anyone new here, I'm just going to clear my throat. Sorry. I don't know why. All right. This is going great. I can't freaking talk.
Hold on. I'll pull it up. Give me a second. I'm whipping it out.
All right.
Where's the SAG script?
Excuse
me while I whip this out.
In the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the hell else is going on in their lives. Speaking of which, Dan, give us an update. How you doing?
So today was the day, man. We are recording this podcast. It is 7:34 on January 17th. So I am about 7 hours, almost exactly, from finishing up my final chemo treatment for this initial phase of my diagnosis. And I say it that way, like I don't want to sound overconfident, like I don't want to jinx it. You know what I mean? Like, which isn't a thing. I know I don't have mental powers that way. But I met with my oncologist this morning with Dr. Rengen. And he couldn't have been more positive. He did the examination on my neck, under my arms, where the most prominent lymph nodes were. And he was like, I don't feel anything. He was like, it's great. It feels perfect. He said, I feel like you're clear. You're going to get this last treatment, and then I'm going to see you in 6 weeks. And in that 6 weeks time frame, like a couple days before I go to see him, I have to get a full body PET scan. And he said, we're giving it 6 weeks because now my body needs time to heal. I've just had 6 straight months of poison, right? Like legitimately poisoning my body every other week for the last, 6+ months. Plus all the medications that I'm taking at home, all the havoc that is playing on, on my liver and my kidneys and all of those things. So he said, we'll let things calm down in your body. This was the protocol. It was a 6-month protocol. So we're here. We'll do this, and then you'll get the PET scan. I'll see you in 6 months. He said, I see no reason to believe that the PET scan will not be clear. If it is, great. I'll see you every 3 months for the rest of this year. Then the following year will be every 6 months, and then the following 3 years after that will be once a year, just to make sure that I get a full blood work panel, and I meet with the oncologist, make sure nothing is going on. He said, I'm so confident that I'm only going to order one PET scan. And I was like, you are just you are not only spitting in the wind, you are fucking tugging on Superman's cape. Like, you are defying fate and logic here, Doc, but you're the oncologist. I'm a schmuck. So right on, man. If you're feeling positive, I'm feeling positive. Let's fucking do it. And I wasn't sure if I was going to. When we started this journey, I think I talked about it on the podcast. I don't remember if I did or not. But I wasn't sure if I was going to do the whole ring the bell thing at the end of the treatment, because there's every cancer center has a bell. Very similar to Long John Silver's or Taco Bell. It's weird that those are the only two places where this ritual exists. Cancer and Taco Bell. I feel like that speaks to something, but whatever. There's a little plaque and a bell, and you read the thing, and then you ring the bell 3 times, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, and I decided this morning that I was going to. And I felt really fucking good when I did.
Did you get any tacos?
No, there were no tacos, though, which is kind of the fucked up. There were no tacos, no Long John Silver. Which, like, if you've never been to a Long John Silver...
Bell, and then somebody walked out and been like, here's your fish and chips.
Right.
That would have been like, well, this was now all worth it.
Every part of this was now 100% worth it. Because, man, I do fucking love Long John Silver's. Some hush puppies, a little chicken plank, and a fish plank. Fuck yeah.
I've never been to Long John Silver's, but I do love me fish and chips. So
they
feel like I like it there.
I think you would. The last one I went to, there's like one around here, and they changed their fries. And they used to have really good, like fast food style French fries. And then they switched to waffle fries, which I do also like. But the last time we went there, they were so over fried that, like, I have them saved upstairs in case anyone breaks in. I'm going to throw them like fucking ninja stars and kill whoever is trying to come into my house. They were so fucking beyond rock hard. It was honestly impressive how fucking hard these waffle fries were. But I did the thing, man. Like I rang the bell, and Tiff was fucking crying, and like everybody in the place is clapping, and like all the nurses signed a thing, and I got like a little slip of paper that's like, you fucking completed your course. It was weird that they put the word fucking on there. I was like, oh, this one's definitely for me.
They know you.
They know audience. Me. Yeah, no, they know, picking up what I'm putting down. I wasn't sure if I should go with that or smell their own. I figured play, anyway. But it was great, man. It was awesome. And everybody, the people that I've kind of collected into this orbit of mine, of being a cancer patient for the last number of months, they have all been incredibly, incredibly wonderful, genuinely kind and caring people. The 2 girls where I go to get my blood work done at a LabCorp in a Walgreens around here. Because I don't need to make an appointment. I can go after work, whatever. And the 2 girls that I go in there, I was talking to them this past Wednesday, and I was like, I think we're going to have to break up soon, because I'm done on Friday. And they were like, no. That's not okay. You need to get like something else so you can come back here for blood work. And I was like, that's a weird fucking demand. I love you guys too, but like, but just the 2 girls that take my blood every week have been kind and sweet and wonderful, and all of you fuckers. It's just been this really weird fucking roller coaster. And especially today, man, I went to bed at like 10:30 last night, and I had to be at my oncologist at 8. I think I got up at 3:30 and just fucking shot out of a cannon at 3:30 in the morning. Like, all right, last one, let's fucking go. Let's do it. Let's get this over with. Because like right now, I feel like shit, obviously. I'm going to feel like shit tomorrow and for this next week, and then I'll start to gradually feel better and all of those things. But like as of right now, for the next 6 weeks at least, I'm done. Like it's over. And that is a weird place to be in, of like, it's over for now, forever. I'm hoping, but it's been a wild fucking journey, man. I think I've handled it pretty well, honestly.
I'd say so. You've handled it great.
I did. I surprised Tiff today because about 7 or 8 months ago, before I had the diagnosis, before I knew what it was, there was a lump. We knew it was bad, but we didn't know exactly how bad, right? So when I was trying to schedule the first PET scan, and that first PET scan, if you remember, back all those months ago, showed that the cancer was fucking everywhere. right in my bones, both sides of my body, above and below the waist, down to my knees. Like, it was just everywhere. So that was not the world's greatest PET scan to get. But before I even got that, I didn't know if it was lymphoma, and if so, I didn't know what type. And I was just fucking scared. And I went over to, there's a place around here called South Jersey Radiology. And I went to South Jersey Radiology, and they were like, yeah, we don't do those PET scans here in this office, but we do it over in a different office. Like, okay, cool. So they sent me over there, and I drove over there because, like, I'm freaking out, right? I'm trying to get this PET scan done so that I can figure out exactly what fight I'm in for. You know, I was ready to fight. I just needed to know who my opponent was, you know, to crudely put it. So I go over to the other place, and they're like, yeah, I don't know why they sent you over here. We don't do that at all. Like, we don't do full body PET scans for men. We do them for breast cancer, but that's not what you're looking at. So you got to go somewhere else. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. I drove all this way over here. And while I was over there, there's a record store over there that used to be really big around here. It's a place called Tunes. They used to have a bunch of locations. They did like CDs, DVDs, video games, and all that shit. And they've survived by closing like their other 3 locations and focusing on vinyl.
And PET scans.
And PET scans. So I went over to Tunes. They gave me a quick PET scan. They were like, I don't know. You don't look like a dog. And I was like, fuck, that's not what a pet. Okay, you guys aren't it either. Let me see what you got as far as records are concerned. And at our wedding, Tiff and I danced to a couple different things, but like our song, right, as we were courting in the relationship, was just the basic bitch, beige Becky that it could possibly be for people like me and people like us at that particular time. And it is First Day of My Life by Bright Eyes. And if you've never heard the song, it's a wonderful song. And the very first line of the song is, this is the first day of my life. I'm glad I didn't die before I met you. And I saw, and then it just goes on to have these, it's just a wonderful, lovely, heartfelt, touching song. If you've never listened to Bright Eyes, I'm Wide Awake It's Morning is, I think, their best record. But Conor Oberst has done some really, really incredible work. If you like Death Cab for Cutie, it would be weird if you've never then heard Bright Eyes, but like that sort of thing. Okay. So I'm looking through Tunes, this record store, and I see that they have a copy of I'm Wide Awake It's Morning. And I thought to myself, you know, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to hide it from Tiff. And when I finish my last chemo treatment, I'm going to bring it home and I'm just going to put it on and we're going to have a good hug and a good cry in the living room and it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to do that. And then I put the record back in the bin and I walked out without buying it. And the reason that I did that 7 or 8 months ago is because I honestly didn't know if I was going to make it because I didn't know what I had, you know? I didn't know if it was a fight that I actually could win. And I didn't want to have to explain to Tiff why she had to return that record. And I didn't want her to like find it. You know what I mean? So I didn't buy it. And I thought to myself in that moment that if this is something, if I get diagnosed with something I can beat, you know, something that if I'm lucky enough to get that diagnosis and get a second chance, and it's meant to be, then on the last day of my treatment, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to buy that fucking record because it's still going to be here. And I went over to Tunes today and I bought that record and we danced in the living room and we had a good cry and it was awesome. And it's just been a really fucking long 6 months. And I am so thankful and grateful, honestly, truly, not in character, because what would you say, Kris? 98% of what I say is in character for the most part, I think. The wrestler version of what I would be, you know, you just turn your personality up to like 11 or 12. But legit, and I'm sorry for I'm not sorry. Fuck it. I'm not sorry for being emotional. I don't give a fuck.
It's your show. It's your party. You cry if you want to.
That's right. Yeah, fucking suck my dick. I'm going to cry. I don't care. It's fine. I honestly, truly, the love and support and laughter and all of that from all of you, knowing that at the very least, no matter how shitty I felt or what was going on, come hell or high water, every fucking week on Friday night, and sometimes Saturday morning or Sunday morning, which were bad ideas, we were going to record this fucking podcast, and we were going to put out entertainment for the people that like us and for ourselves, and legacy content for our children to listen to for as long as we fucking can. And I plan to continue to do it for as long as I fucking can with this second chance that I have. So thank you, and I love you, and it's been a wild fucking journey that is not over yet, but fuck does it feel good to be on this side of it.
I don't know how to follow that up.
No, there's no way. I'm sorry. Podcast over.
Absolutely welcome.
Let's have a different episode.
I couldn't be happier that you're still here. Obviously my weekly woes, my daily woes are not fighting cancer, but
sure.
Fuck, I need it tonight. After it's just been an exhausting week for me, and I'm just glad that you're okay. And it made me real happy to hear that you're all that story that you just told was beautiful and wonderful, and we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. That's not heavy.
We do.
That's not super serious, and that brings me all of the joy. Like, I haven't had a deeply serious week. It's just been an exhausting week. I've had too much on my plate this week. I helped out Jimmy and a cover in Quizzo, and I went to the local Democratic meeting, and like it was just every day was something else, and I've had just no time to just enjoy anything, honestly. Almost anything. So I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy you're here with me, and we'll keep doing this until we can't anymore, and then we'll keep doing it anyway.
And then we're gonna fucking keep doing it anyway. They'll be like, "All right, Grandpa, you going down and record your podcast, are you? Okay, go talk to Kris. He's been dead for 30 years, but it's fine." Or 30, that was fucking dark. I'm sorry. 3 years. I assume I'll outlive you by like 3 years. 30 is a bit much. I don't know if I'm 100 and you're 70. That's kind of okay, but fuck. Sorry.
That's just it, Dan. I'm already dead.
Oh shit. Oh,
Grace, she died 30 years ago.
The blessing.
Fuck's sake. Love it.
Yeah. Good, man. It's that's fucking wild, man.
Let me tell you how my week started.
Yeah. Put it in me. Lay it on me. Sorry. Wrong one.
Not necessarily Monday.
I just got the treatment. That's not safe.
Monday. I don't even remember Monday, but Tuesday was where the week really set the tone. So Tuesday morning, I'll wake up exhausted. I'm just tired. I haven't really I haven't caught up, Tuesday I wake up, I'm doing okay. Wake up tired, but I'm doing okay. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Go out the door, head over to the gym, have a perfectly normal exercise, and doing all right. I'm pushing myself and feeling fine, etc., etc. I go to sit in the sauna like I do after I'm done exercising. I sit in the sauna.
I want one.
It's nice.
I want one
except
so bad.
the one wasn't working. It hasn't been working for the last couple of times I've been there, which is kind of obnoxious. But I still just sat there alone in the dark anyway, because I get to sit down in a dark room by myself. Just fine after I'm done exercising. Just kind of finish sweating and move on with my day. Now, this is one of those things that I've firmly believed that I should have been prepared for from day one, right? Like, I'm going to start going to the gym. This is something that I should expect as an eventuality, but it never occurred to me. Not once. in the entire time I've been doing this, last couple of months, had this occurred to me until it happened. Sitting there. It's time for me to get out of the sauna. Time for me to go. I open up the door. Boom. Naked man.
Oh, yeah.
I was not prepared at 6:30 in the morning for unsolicited full frontal nudity. I just wasn't.
I wasn't prepared for somebody else's balls at 6:30 in the morning.
At this close of proximity to my own. Just, I open up the door, and there they are, walking past me into the shower.
Yeah.
I know, I've been to a YMCA before. I understand that this is something that you should expect in a locker room, but it just never occurred to me that at this gym locker room, there would be a dude just being like, you know what? Fuck it. Balls out. I'm heading to the shower. I can't be bothered to wear a towel.
No. Might drop the towel.
This is what we're doing now.
That's right. Just swinging it.
Yep. And like that's
well, okay, so I have to know.
Right.
Older than you? Younger than you?
No, I don't think so. I averted my eyes quickly enough that I could. The only.
Oh, I'd have been sizing them up.
I could
not in like a sex way.
I could pick his bottom half out of a lineup. But I don't think I could pick the top half. So
you didn't make eye contact?
I can't. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't gaze into his eyes afterwards. I couldn't say for certain, like what I was dealing with. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not really sure. So I can't say with any level of authority that it was old balls.
Okay.
It was just junk. You know, nondescript. Not entirely sure who it was attached to.
Okay. You were like, I see what you're working with. Like, give me that eye contact, Charles, as he's walking by.
I mean, I've already been trying my best to not pay attention to anything around me.
To anyone?
Gym, not just because, like, I don't want to see anybody looking at me going, ugh, but also, like, there are a couple of attractive women in the gym, and I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. So
sure.
I'm just not. I try not to look at anybody. I want to keep to myself. So when there's a wang walking my way, just kind of
even I don't know that there's ever a situation that is improved by unsolicited wang. I know my fair share, and am very close friends. One of my best friends on the planet is a very gay man, and he has told me that unsolicited wang is just never welcome. Whereas for straight hetero dudes, you know, cis whatever we say, unsolicited boobs doesn't matter. Always great. Always great.
I'm not kicking that. No, it would not,
never
would not
once
be an issue for me at all.
Doesn't matter the shape, size, consistency. It's a weird way to describe them. You know, like they're like bags of sand. No, you got some of the bolt-ons that are a very different consistency than naturals. But never once would you open up that message and be like, "Oh, come on. What the fuck is this? I got to look at this shit all day." Where I imagine women on the internet constantly are like, "Fuck, dude. It's ruined my..." It's like a Cybertruck. Like you see a Cybertruck, it just ruins your fucking day. An unsolicited wang just ruins your fucking day. God damn it.
Yeah, again, it didn't ruin my day, per se. It was just something that I wasn't prepared for. And,
no, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fine. Now you have to do it to someone.
No, absolutely not.
Now you have been initiated into the unsuspected wienering club, and you have to now.
No, especially not in this weather.
It is really cold these last couple. And next week,
have you seen the forecast for next week?
I have. Well, tomorrow, so Sunday, we're supposed to get 5 inches. Which is, you know, average from what I've been told. And then next week, we're supposed to get a good Dan Ryan on the weekend, which is a good 7 to 9 inches. So,
I don't believe anything that far out. And as far as
I don't either, but
Sunday is concerned, where I'm at, or I think we're at now, like we might get a dusting. But then again, that's different for me than it is for you. I'm a little closer to the shore, so
yeah,
you
get that warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're likely to get the good stuff.
We're going to get fucked.
Take Ellie sledding again. But
yeah. I'm excited, man. It has been really cold. It is currently 32 degrees outside right now. I just looked at my watch. We're getting down to 21 tonight, and then we are staying fucking cold for like the next 4 or 5 days. And this isn't like
Tuesday has got a low of 6.
Yeah, like it's awesome.
That's not enough.
That's not enough degrees. You go back and look. I think you forgot a few, you fuckers. It's not like, what was it, 98, the blizzard that we had up here?
Mm-hmm.
That just fucking shut everything down for like a week and a half. Because, oh shit. But this is much more significant than we've had in years. I'm happy about it. It's winter. Yeah, sure. It should be fucking cold. It should be cold and dark, and you should be sad inside eating stew.
It should be cold, and there should be snow, and I'm so glad that there is.
Yeah. I'm going to put Christmas lights up. Finally. When I feel better, I'm going to put Valentine's Day lights up. You don't know me. I'll do what I want. Yeah.
All right, come on, gambler. Pop already.
Did you play anything this week? Because I played the only things that I can at this point, which is just Snap and Pad. Because I can control enough with my left hand that I can hold a bigger... I had to buy a bigger stylus, which was... That was something. It's like, I can't hold the little one anymore. Get me the big pen. So I could play Pad, and I can do enough on a mouse with my right hand. I'm going to buy Balatro. That's the fucking problem. I'm going to buy Balatro on my Steam Deck. Because it's all I can play right now. I can't play anything more complicated.
68. What a bunch of bullshit. Sorry, it just popped and it was pathetic.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. These things happen.
But yeah, just Pad and Snap this week. I have not been able to play anything else, which is really fucking frustrating. Really, really frustrating. I'm hoping that the neuropathy starts to wear off relatively quickly after these next 2 weeks, because the next 2 weeks it's going to be just as bad as it has been, and then it should slowly kind of get back to where I have some, like we were talking about, whether or not I'll have to go do like occupational therapy or whatever. We'll kind of see where we are in a couple weeks. I forgot to mention last week, and it actually did make my hand feel a little bit better. At Chat's vet office, they have a laser therapy machine that they use on the dogs, mostly, like on their joints and their ligaments and shit. So I went in there and we did a laser therapy session on my hand, and it helped. And it was weird because the boss just shot me with a laser for like 5 minutes. And it was like, it helps get the blood flowing. And I was like, all right, well, fucking let's do it. In this untrained medical fucker, or like, you're not trained to use this on humans. This is the wrong way to use this medical device. I'm sure there are a fuck ton of warnings about this. I am not going to ask the oncologist if it's okay. Let's just shoot me with a laser. But it helped. So I got to go back and do it tomorrow. It's like a weekly thing.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. I was wondering where else it could get the blood flowing, but I'm not ready to ask yet. You know? Just seeing if we can't improve some other areas while we're at it. Doesn't need improvement, but, you know.
Who couldn't use a little bonus here and there?
You've seen The Birdcage, right? It's one of the best fucking lines in that movie. It's still me with just one tiny difference. Well, not tiny. I fucking love that movie.
Well,
anyway.
I mean, I did play some games. I had some other things I wanted to bring up that should be discussed.
Oh yeah, do it. Sorry.
All right, so actually, this is actually going to require me to go get the thing. Ah, crap! Hold on 1 second. I got to stand up for a second. Vamp for like 30 seconds.
Oh god, that's so. I can't vamp. I have, no, I don't want to say that. I'm going to save that for a surprise if we ever have a chance to do it altogether. Do I have any good jokes? No, I don't. I don't have anything new that one of you hasn't told me. Fuck, man, I don't know. I got nothing. Sorry. Oh, good, he's back. Oh, I just kept wiping that spot on the counter. Because you usually come in. And you didn't come in. It's a fucking Pleasantville reference.
All right, so, look. I love Nintendo Force. I always have, I always will. I'm proud to be a staff member on this magazine. But there was there were a couple of things in the most recent issue that really rubbed me the wrong way that I needed to say something about.
Ooh.
Because I didn't want anyone to think that I had anything to do with these things in this magazine.
They're that dire? Oh, fuck. I'm excited. Love rumors and scuttlebutt.
So something I didn't know was happening in this issue was that Lucas reviewed Hatch Tales.
Oh. Okay.
Lucas gave this game an 8 out of 10.
Oh, fuck. I need to talk to Lucas.
Now, I was like, wow, that is extraordinarily high, and I have continued to play this game. I haven't finished it yet, because it's kind of bland. So I thought an 8 was excruciatingly high, and I've seen a couple of this from sycophants online. I was like, all right, well, let's read the review. Why did he give it this score? The review kind of tells the story of the Kickstarter, leaves out a lot of the negative parts of the Kickstarter, and kind of ends with, it brings up that his friend and business partner died right after the game was funded. Like, okay, tell you what,
that sucks.
I'll add a year to the Kickstarter for that one. You can have one free year. That means it's still 5 years late
at best.
So the way the review ends is, you never know what others are going through. As gamers, we can get excited about upcoming releases, and we can get mad when those games get bumped back. But their developers are just people too. They have their own lives and struggles. Try not to feel entitled. Have some patience. The eggs will hatch when they're ready.
That's a good line. Wasted on Hatch Tales. That's a good line.
What does that have to do with the content of the game?
Nothing.
See, and that's where I'm at. The back half of this review seems to talk a lot about what Jules Watson was going through and how mean people were to him for mistreating the people he solicited money for to make a game that he then didn't really make. And
wasn't honest about.
The point of I wanted to challenge myself to review this game, not review the story around the game or the person who made the game. I wanted to review the final product based on what was promised, what it is, what it isn't, etc.
Yeah.
And having played as much of the game as I have, I think an 8 is criminally high, and it sounds like a pity score. Yeah. Now, I know the magazine interviewed Jules at one point. I don't know if they have any sort of relationship, but this really bothers me. This review really, really bothered me, and I'm not going to die on this hill or anything like that. It's one of those things that seems. I respect this magazine and the people who write for this magazine so much, and reading this review was really bothersome. It just really, really bugs me.
That sucks.
It does. Of course, 1 page later, Brett gave Balatro a 10 out of 10, which, again, I haven't played it, but I don't think he's wrong.
No, he's not.
But here's my Tetris review, and I agonized over this thing, and I know they put a ton of work in it, but I had to review the content, not how hard they tried. I reviewed what was in the game, and I gave that thing a 7, and I think that's what that package is.
Right.
I love Digital Eclipse, and I know that they struggled to get as many games in there as they possibly could. But the fact that they tried and didn't succeed, that shouldn't that shouldn't affect the score of what the actual game is, because this isn't the point of the review score. The point of the review is to tell people whether or not they, to inform people on what we know about the game, to make an informed decision on whether or not they'll like it. And hearing the sob story of how mean the internet was to Jules Watson isn't going to have any effect on whether or not Hatch Tales is actually a good game. And it's a fine game. If I were to review it at this point, I'm a little more than halfway through it. I'd probably think like 5.5, 6, because it is a perfectly average game with some neat ideas that are never really pulled off as well as they should be. I think an 8 was just criminal. Criminal.
An 8, that's a really good game. That's a really good game.
Yeah.
That's a really good game.
By that review scale, that game was better than Tetris Forever, which is
an 8.5
to me.
Is it's almost an outstanding game.
Yeah.
It's almost a game you need to play. And that is fucking wild. To me, I haven't played it. In full disclosure, I have not and will not be playing Hatch Tales. It's not for me. I get that.
It's very much not for you, no.
I have played all of the other, not all, most of the other Atui whatever releases. The Mute Muds and Zeo Drifter. Crossy, whatever, or not Crossy, whatever. What was the fucking
Totes the Goat?
Totes the Goat, and they're fine.
Yeah, they're decent games. That's what
they're fine.
They do decent
they're
games.
They're aggressively fine. They're a 6, and that's better than I can fucking do. I'm not sitting here saying I can make a better game, but if the job of the reviewer, it's why it's so hard, right? When we were kids, and it's maybe a weird comparison, but when we were kids, who told you if a movie was good? There were 2 guys, right? It was Siskel and Ebert. We all collectively decided that that's who we were going to trust as far as movie reviews were concerned. And they would go out and be like, this movie's dope, you should go fucking see it. Or this movie sucked balls, you should not go see it. And those are exact quotes. Siskel was the one who said dope. Ebert was very big on movies sucking balls. It's in the book. It's in their biography. But we kind of collectively decided that we trusted their opinions because they proved themselves to be genuine in their criticism or praise based on the content of what was presented to them. I am sure that the people making Madam Web, not the suits that kept telling them to change shit, right? But the actual on the ground, what my friend Nicole does, what the actors were doing, I am sure that they were trying to make a good movie. And boy, did they not make a good fucking movie. That doesn't make it a 7.
Pull it off. It doesn't. Just because they try, I don't think there's an A for effort.
No
category in here. Now that's not always necessarily the case. There's one thing to try and fail. There's another thing to be like, I can tell this was made with heart, so I can forgive certain things. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that happens from time to time.
Sure.
But that's when that kind of thing comes through. That doesn't come through in this game. None of this game feels heartless, which is one of my biggest complaints about it, is that it feels so empty. And I don't know.
That's a bummer.
The other thing that I was kind of irked about is our Game of the Year awards, because I don't really know how these are actually chosen. I know I nominate a bunch of stuff, and everybody else nominates a bunch of stuff, but then there doesn't really seem to be a conversation that happens afterwards. So I don't know how these are ultimately chosen. Like, best DLC went to Splatoon 3 Side Order. Now, granted, I did not play Splatoon 3 Side Order. Maybe that was the best DLC. But I sure would have liked to have a conversation with the person who played that about Ode to Castlevania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But that didn't happen. It's entirely possible that Side Order was a better DLC than Ode to Castlevania. I don't know.
Sure.
Because that conversation never took place. I'm curious about this. Not really curious enough to like bring it up. Like, this one really bothers me. Best Revival, Euphoria the Saga 2. Like, this year Gimmick 2 came out. And
I was going to say, is it better than Gimmick?
Not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark. Like, Euphoria 2 is a good time. I don't even think it's as good as Euphoria 1, but I'm really enjoying it. Gimmick 2 was amazing. But I know Lucas played Euphoria, and I know he didn't play Gimmick. So,
right. Yeah, I don't know, man.
The conversation, like this,
right? When we do these Golden Caveman Awards later tonight, this is just bullshit that you and I do. Exactly. But we are upfront about that.
Yeah, these are our personal awards for our. Yeah, this is our stuff. This is our publication, and I feel like there should be some kind of conversation in here. And I was kind of, I don't know. These things bother me, and I take this job writing for this magazine so seriously because it's been a lifelong dream of mine, and I think this kind of shit's important because
it speaks to the integrity of the publication.
Yeah, and when all this
integrity
stuff burns down,
is important.
This stuff's in print. This is all here.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. Like, here's my Plucky Squire review, 6.5. And I was very specific to the Switch version that I gave it a 6.5 because of all of its technical problems. I still think Plucky Squire is a much better game than Hatch Tales. But Hatch Tales in this very magazine got an 8, and this got a 6.5 because I took that out of 10 scale so seriously.
Right.
There's no sense in having a 10-point scale if you're only going to use the top 5. And
yeah,
just bugs me. But I also have to say, I'm here looking at page 78 of the current issue of Nintendo Force magazine, and here is Rumblemans' Kid Icarus for Super Nintendo.
That's so cool. Cool.
I'm so glad this happened. I don't remember if this came up at some point during planning and it just got past me, or maybe even I suggested it at some point. I don't know.
That seems most likely
possible. Now that I'm thinking about it, now I have to go back and look. Did I actually suggest that? And I made an ass of myself, and I was like, I didn't know this was happening. Because Rumblemans asked me to pass along that he was super honored to be listed in the magazine. So now I'm curious. I want to go back to the planning phase to see if I said that, because now I think I may have. Because I think we were planning this right after we did that interview with him. Oh boy. Now I really feel like I made an ass of myself.
I don't know. It doesn't seem. It doesn't seem like a thing somebody else would have brought up. Like, it seems like you are the one to bring that up.
I know Lucas is a big fan of Kid Icarus, so it's possible because he put the Kid Icarus one big front and center.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is planning for 75? Say community. All right, that's usually what it talks about when we're talking about the community section, but no, it's not showing up there. I think this is going to take me too long to actually discover if I suggested this or not. But
okay.
That's a better way to do this. I'll just look up my name. What did I post during this nonsense? Digital Eclipse. That was me trying to get the code. That was me offering to review something. Donkey Konga.
Boot-do-do-do.
Donkey Konga's great. We were playing Mario Party the other night, and there was this mini game that was all like Donkey Konga stuff. It took for friggin' ever too, but it was so worth it because when I won, then I got Donkey Kong to follow me around, and I was
that's
allowed
fun.
to buy 2 stars. Really pissed
Nice.
off the kids. Anyway, that was a fun little side story. Next issue, I'm not even sure what we're putting on the next issue because there was a big scramble after the whole announcement yesterday, but we're still figuring all that out, and we'll get to that in a little bit. You have sort of a message that needs to be passed along. One of my good friends, Greg, is a listener of the show.
Hi, Greg.
He texted me this morning, and I told him I would read this on the show. It says, I'm going to defend Dan's left-handedness. I do many things right-handed because from day one, you have to adapt or are forced into right-handedness. Society doesn't exactly give you left-handed options. I write and eat left-handed. I throw right-handed. When I tried to play guitar, right-handed guitars felt more natural because my right hand was useless. One of those rare times I will defend Dan.
Well, a backhanded compliment, Greg, but I also eat and write left-handed. That was the other thing. I forgot to mention that. I eat with my left hand. Yeah, everything else is right-handed. Because he's right. They made a whole fucking Simpsons episode about it, where Ned opens the fucking left-handed store, right? The Leftorium. Yeah, it's fucking awful. The pain that is caused a left-handed person from a spiral-bound notebook as you just used to copy notes off the board. It's, oh, God. Brutal. Until eventually...
Take off this Snuggie. So I got this thing for Christmas. It's not really a Snuggie. I forget what it's called, but it's like, it's a Snuggie adjacent thing. It's basically a hoodie that's just a ridiculously warm blanket. And it's so cold
I've got one of those.
That I figured I'd set myself up with this because I was wearing it for most of the day today. But I also forgot that when I do this podcast, I tend to get really warm because I get hot when I talk. So I took out my headphones for a second.
To me, anyway.
That's... Well, hold on as I take this off. I'm literally stripping for you people.
That's so exciting.
Which actually kind of sort of brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about is more good podcasting as I get my headphones back in. Okay, now I can hear Dan. So in the interest of doing... I mean, I've already tanked this ship as far as doing good podcast goes, so I may as well go the full line. I got a present in the mail from our listener, Matt Flamger. He had a spare Atari 2600 that needed a good home, and so he boxed it up and sent it to me. It showed up in the mail today, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. He said the tracking showed that it got there, and he wanted me to make sure I had gotten it. And I was like, well, I got the box, but I haven't had a chance to open it yet because I've been so busy today working on my video and for the MemCard Pro GC, which is super effing cool. I just, beat my head against the wall actually trying to figure out how to use the dang thing. And also scripting for tonight. So I am going to unbox this here on this audio podcast. And I'm going to describe to the best of my ability what this is. So this is a nice big box. It's probably
That's what she said?
I'm going to say this box is about 3 feet tall. So
that's a big fucking box for a 2600.
It's got a boxed 2600 in it.
Does it have a body in there as well?
I hope so.
A small body, but
we've got some packing material. It's just crumpled up paper. It looks very well packed. And here's the 2600 itself, complete in box. This is wondrous. Look at this. Video computer system. I think I have this box. I think. Now my next question is, I didn't really look too close at the picture he sent me because, I'm not going to look a gift Atari in the mouth.
No, sure.
I assume you can still hear me more or less okay. Sorry, I'm going to try to move my microphone to somewhere where I can be heard. So first I'm going to see what's... is there anything else in the box? Or is everything in the Atari box? Let's see. More paper and more paper. Okay, so that's all that. So whatever's in here is just in this 2600 box. So let's see what's cooking in here. What kind of Atari is it? Like, how many switches are on it? Judging by the box, it looks like it's a 4-switch.
Okay.
That's not nothing. It's no heavy sixer, but it's something. I definitely see games in here. I don't want to drop anything, but I also don't have a large enough flat surface to do this on that isn't the floor. So, okay, here we go. Oh, there's catalogs flying everywhere. What is that? Hold it up. And this is... it's the receipt! Oh, what do we got? What do we got? Let's see. Oh, this is a warranty claim form. Oh, look at you. Oh, you're beautiful. What is this from? Purchase date December of 81.
Wow.
I was not even a year old yet. 1 VCS. Look at that. Okay, that's super cool. All right, this was having this warranty form was already well worth it. Got another folded up paper thing here. What's this? Oh, this is just problems with your Atari video computer system? Super Service comes through again. For Atari Super Service, call toll free. All right. That's kind of neat. And we've got some catalogs, some instruction manuals, a log book, another catalog, Breakout, Video Chess, Dodge 'em. All right, let's see what kind of game. Got a big white box with paddle on it. And it says it on every side. I don't think I've ever seen this. It's just a white box that says paddle, but this says paddle on the top, on the front, on both sides, and on the back. It doesn't say it on the bottom, but in case you were wondering, this is the box.
They just want to make sure.
You want to make sure you know. So there's the paddle. Well, it's looking pretty good. And got a box copy of Combat, Dodge 'em, Breakout, Othello, Video Chess, and text label Space Invaders. All right. Well, this is lovely. Thank you very much, Matt, for the Atari.
If I could be so bold, I would suggest that what might need to happen with that is that a CRT and that might need to end up in John's room.
Oh, boy. He'd hate it. He would hate that.
Ellie's room?
Ellie might get a kick out of it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to hooking it up and just farting around with it, because most of my Ataris, last time I tried hooking them up, they just weren't really working right anymore. So,
right.
We shall see. Well, that was fun. So, what did I play? I am almost done with Undertale. I should have it finished. I should have it finished this weekend. That's my plan. I don't have a whole lot left to it. John actually finished it. John actually sat there and finished Undertale. He got stuck on one of the bosses that I had to help him with, and then the rest of the game he was able to do by himself. I found out from John, who has now YouTubed the shit out of everything Undertale and learned all there is to know about it. At least everything you can learn by watching dipshits on YouTube. Right. He has informed me that I am indeed doing a perfect pacifist run so far. So I'm just gonna keep riding that train all the way through to the end, because I'm finding that to be just the most interesting way to play the game, is figuring out how to get out of fighting everybody. Now that I know that it's possible, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I've been successful so far. And I'm not breaking any new ground here, but Undertale's a really freaking good game.
Right? It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I should have it finished this weekend. I'm hoping tomorrow morning I have to edit a podcast instead of playing Undertale, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through Undertale this weekend. And the only other thing that I did this week as far as video games is I finally got back to my 100% completion of Vampire Survivors. I am all done with Ode to Castlevania. I got Chaos. I found an exploit online to earn money super fast, because I got to the point where I had unlocked everything, but I couldn't buy them because at that point everyone's costing $250,000 at least, plus Chaos was $9,999,999. I was like, all right, there's got to be a faster way to earn money than what I'm doing. And then I looked it up online, and there was just this ridiculously absurd strategy that raked up millions of dollars in 5 minutes. It's like, I'm just going to do this a couple of times, and that'll solve it for me.
Nice. That's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. It feels nice to have that completed, so next thing that drops, I'm ready to go. I'm no longer behind on that one in any way, shape, or form. So that is it for me.
Outstanding.
So I guess it's time for us to take a break, right? We got anything else
we got stuff to do.
Show? Yeah, we got big important discussions to happen. So we're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's new at Stone Age Gamer and what's been going on in week-old news. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new on the official Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel.
First up, NES controllers are, they're great. I mean, who doesn't love a good rectangle? I love a good rectangle. I like a square. I'm okay with a rhombus. You know, it's fine, but a rectangle? Fuck. Anyway, which is why the original controller from Retrobit, or the Origin 8, I was trying to correct it, but no, it's the Origin 8. Controller from Retrobit is such a delight. See, I shouldn't editorialize, Chris. I should read the copy. It's good copy, Ron. What are you doing? Not only is its name a fancy way of saying the word originate, yeah, it is. Not original. Not the Originate, the Originate. With a number instead of letters, it's a wireless controller for the NES. You know what? Fuck it. It's a wireless controller for the NES. I'm just going to go with that since the rest is going so well. And you know what? It works. You can see it in action by checking out the Originate wireless controller for NES overview. Make sure you leave comments letting Chris know how inept this video is, too. That felt passive-aggressive.
The comments section on the Originate controller video was really something. A couple people were like, man, this is a big waste of my time. It's like the video's a minute and 30 seconds long. I'm sorry I wasted your precious time.
It's an important minute and 30 seconds. I mean, you don't know.
It's like, is it what, 2.4 gigahertz or whatever, or is it Bluetooth? Like, you didn't say it in the video. I'm like, there's a link to the product page. This is just there's a picture of what it looks like. It's wireless. If you want to know more information, follow the link. That's all the information, so I say in the video.
Words have meanings.
Time.
An overview is not the same as review.
It's not an in-depth overview or anything like that. I'm just giving the basics. This is what it is. This is what it does. You know, I'm not trying to get all in depth. It's just not what I'm after. Whatever. Next, it is finally time. The next chapter in my Mario Brothers retrospective. This time, we're looking at the tumultuous time where Nintendo tried to compete more directly with Sony and Microsoft while flat out refusing to make a new original Mario game for their incredibly successful Game Boy Advance platform. What other games did Luigi star in before Luigi's Mansion? What's so special about the e-reader in terms of Mario's history? Just how much did Sony dominate the games market when they launched the PlayStation? Learn all about it in the Stone Age Gamer Archaeology Mario Brothers Retrospective Part 7, A Link to the Past. Yeah, that's right. I
see what you did there. I like it. I fully fucking support it. It's great.
Because, see, that's the Zelda series, but the games are also... It's the advanced games. So from the past, it's a link to the past. Yeah, very clever.
And there's cables, like a link cable. Finally, it's time for another 16-bit brawl. This time around, Chris took a look at Sparkster. I feel like I've read this before. Two different games.
I changed it ever so slightly because this is for the video version. You read the ad for the written version, and I thought, well, why write a new commercial when you can just copy and paste an old one?
No, you're right. I shouldn't have called that out. Again, just read the copy. It's good copy, Ron. Finally, it's time for another Origin 16 brawl. Right? That's Origin 16. There it is. It's later in the copy. This time around, Chris... Fuck.
The Origin 16.
The Origin 16. You know, that old chestnut. Chris took a look at Sparkster. Two different games with the same names and box art. But with the original masterpiece Rocket Knight Adventures being a Sega Genesis exclusive, did that platform sequel have an unfair advantage? Does adding a slot machine to the gameplay make for a fun addition? I mean... Why is screen cramping such an issue in both of these releases? Find out which jetpack-fueled possum is better in 16-bit brawl Sparkster, SNES vs. Genesnes.
For all this and more, be sure to check in with our YouTube channel and follow us at StoneAgeGamer.com. All right, everybody, we are back. It's time to talk about what is new at Stone Age Gamer, and really the only thing that came to mind is that we're finally starting to
Yep.
We're finally starting to ship some G-Comps. Those have been on pre-order for a very long time, and people are finally going to start getting them from us, which is great, because I like it when people get the things that they order.
When people spend money and we give them products, they're usually pretty happy about it.
Yeah, usually people spend money and then they don't get products and they sit and wait on them for a long time, and then they get angry at us because, you know...
Because they spent money.
The distributor says these are going to be here at this time, so we put on the website, these should be here at this time. And like, you said they're going to be here at this time. And I said, no, they should be here at this time. Like, no, I want my thing. And then you say, I'm sorry. And then, well, give me my money back. I'm like, okay, fine. Anyways,
no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that either.
That means it is time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for Week Old News. Welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. And first up, we have from Time Extension. I love this story. I really didn't think this was going to keep happening, and yet here we are. A new unreleased Atari 2600 prototype has just been discovered. Last week, it was announced that a new unreleased 2600 prototype had recently been discovered on a VAX VMS backup tape from Atari's coin-op division. And better yet, it's available now for anyone who wants to give it a go. The game's called Fish. It's really interesting. This is a 2600 game that was on the coin-op division's computer. Like, there's a bunch of theories about why that is. Like, you know, maybe somebody at coin-op was just developing this in their spare time, or somebody from the other division was showing it off to somebody in the coin-op division. Like, it could be any number of things. Whatever it is, it's utterly fascinating. And it looks like a pretty fun game. It looks very similar to Shark Shark, from what I've understood. You're a little fish, and there's like other worm-looking things floating around. The fish has that cool Atari gradient look on it.
Cool.
Yeah. This is a whole ass game. This is a whole ass Atari game.
It's a whole ass thing.
Atari, nobody knew this existed. An Atari game, all this time, still finding new stuff for Atari 2600.
That's nuts, man.
I love it. I love game history so much, and I love it when this kind of stuff gets found and preserved. Just magnificent. Also magnificent. Utter glory. Time Extension also reports Sega appears to be reviving Echo the Dolphin after 25 years.
Yeah, I saw.
It's really, they just filed trademarks. That's all. There's really not a whole lot to this story. I just put it there for you.
I saw it and was not going to comment.
This is a weird story. Push Square reports Power Wash Simulator folds in VR team, putting further support on ice. I forgot that Power Wash Simulator had a VR version, which is amusing, I guess. But it looks like the regular game has been such a success that and the VR one has been a much slower burn, that they're just kind of folding the teams together to work on more non-VR related Power Wash Simulator stuff. Because that's a thing.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Power Wash Simulator, I played it for like 15 minutes, and I was like, all right, like, okay. But an actual power washer is about the same price as the game. Like, you can find a pretty cheap power washer. And a pretty cheap power washer is a damn good time. Like, go out and actually power wash shit. It's fun.
Don't do it now. It's freezing outside.
No, I'm sure, but also maybe do it now. maybe don't not do it now. See what happens.
You will ruin the power washer.
I mean, how much do you like your neighbor? Because if you want them to have an ice skating rink for either positive or negative reasons, there are ways with a power washer to make that shit fucking happen.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They're fun. They're a blast. I love them.
They're a blast. That's true. They're quite literally a blast.
Like a Genesis.
I love power washing.
Blast processing. Yeah, anyway, that's weird.
moving on. Push Square reports that Doom has now been ported to a new portal, now playable inside a PDF.
Shine on, look, you crazy diamonds.
Again, I love this. Apparently it was done by a high school student. I don't understand it.
No.
Watch the video. I don't understand it. It's not something that I can wrap my head around, but I'm so happy it exists. I just Doom needs to be everywhere that it can be, and this is one of those places. I'm thrilled. I'm utterly thrilled.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yep. Whatever insanity.
Whatever that is.
Here, whatever this is good. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Good work. Anyways, let's get it on the Watara supervision. That's all I'm saying. This
it's
is
weird that it's not
kind of sort of related to me here. The Nintendo Life reports the OG Mega Man is getting the hand-drawn game guide treatment, and it looks glorious.
It does look really cool.
Artist and author Philip Summers is back with another hand-drawn game guide, this time looking at the classic hard as nails action title Mega Man. So there is a Kickstarter that already went past its funding goal within 12 hours, but it's still running for a little while now. And this is going to be published by Nintendo Force. NF Publishing is going to be handling this book. So we are involved, and it is exciting. I'm going to get to proofread some of this stuff, I believe. And
that's really awesome.
Yeah, the book looks really cool. I can't remember what this previous one was, but I think this is really neat looking stuff. It's pretty wild artwork.
And who knew? People still like Mega Man. Capcom, if you're listening, you fuckers.
Yeah, believe it or not, people still like Mega Man, and they still like books.
Yeah. Who knew? Give me a Mega Man visual novel is what we're saying. That's what we want. Obviously.
Do it now. Let's see. This one you're probably going to have to help me out a little bit. Push Square reports after 31 years, the legendary Shuhei Yoshida bids farewell to PlayStation. Who was this fella, and why should I know him?
So, Mr. Yoshida, or Yoshida-san, he was there for, you said 31 years, right?
I didn't, no. But this article says 31 years.
Okay. I thought so. He was there in a bunch of different roles, like over the time, like, and he eventually like worked his way up to being president of I think he might have started as president of Sony Japan and then moved into like worldwide, like oversaw worldwide publishing, and it was just responsible for bringing a lot of shit to PlayStation. And what was cool about Shuhei is that when he was wrong, he would say he was wrong. Like, there was an article that came out earlier today as I was scrolling through shit, and it's funny you bring it up. He, like, didn't love everything about, like, what they did with the VR, and didn't, and apologized for certain shit. It's just, it's weird. He was a good dude.
Well, good for him, and I'm glad he's retiring happily. He seems like he's going out in a good state. You gotta love it when that happens.
Yeah, he was just like, he was a genuinely good dude who like wanted people to play fun games. You can't really hate on that. He was the dude in the, I believe he was in the fucking, the commercial when Sony was being super shitty about the PlayStation 4, and they did the, here's how you share games on a PlayStation, and like the two dudes handed a disc back and forth. I think that was Shuhei in that. I think. I could be wrong. I just looked it up real quick to make sure that, that what I'm saying is relatively, true. He was the executive producer for Gran Turismo, Ape Escape, Legend of Dragoon. He worked on Navy SEAL, SOCOM, Jak and Daxter, Twisted Metal Black, ATV Off-Road Fury, and then he became vice president in April of 2000, and then senior vice president of Worldwide Studios, and then president of Worldwide Studios in 2008.
Huh. Well, sounds like he had a hell of a career.
He's kind of like a Reggie, right? Yeah. Like Reggie had a lot of like those sorts of like credits on stuff, and was just kind of like a face for a little bit. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, right. Good stuff. And a well-deserved retirement at 60 years old. Good for him. Or 64, something like that.
Well, unfortunately, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, Pure Xbox reports Microsoft has announced more layoffs in its gaming division, says new report.
It feels like with the amount of layoffs at Microsoft that they just can't possibly have anybody left to work there. Doesn't it? Like, we've mentioned that a lot over the last year. Especially once the Activision thing went through.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's too much. It's... so much of the modern video game industry is so tragically hecked beyond belief. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on... Push Square reports Sony cancels Bluepoint, Bend Studio PS5 games, one being a live service God of War title?
Yeah, thank you for canceling that, Sony. Like, thank you for reading the fucking tea leaves, reading the crowd reaction, understanding the assignment, whatever fucking parlance of our times you want to use. The fuck... Who was a live service God of War game for?
I don't know. And neither did Sony. They didn't know who it was for when they greenlit the project.
Yeah.
I don't ever like to hear about things being canceled per se, but this just sounds like somebody at Sony has finally determined that, wait a minute. Maybe
everybody
we should learn
really
something
liked
from
Astrobot.
Concord. Maybe we should look at Concord and actually reflect on something for a minute here. Possibly.
We've got all these other properties, like,
and these are
Jak and Daxter
studios
and Siphon Filter and not God of War live service bullshit. Yeah.
Let's stop that. Let's stop that. Yeah. All right. Moving right along. Footloose and Fancy Free. Go Nintendo reports. Just as soon as the page loads up. Come on. You can do it. Come on. What are we waiting on here? Go Nintendo's having a real hard time. There's a physical version of Gimmick is seeing its NES release in North America for the first time ever. Limited Run is making cartridges with the a completed North American ROM of the game. I'm very curious what it's going to sound like. I know that I can get the fancy expanded audio coming out of my EverDrive. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that on the NES version. They haven't said. I jumped onto their Twitter, and a bunch of people have already asked the question, and as far as I know, Limited Run Games has not responded yet. So I have many questions. It is going to be a very interesting situation. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy one. I now have it on Switch. I have it on my EverDrive. I have Gimmick 2. I do love Gimmick, and I would love to have an actual NES cart. I just don't know if I want an NES cart $60 worth just to...
Right.
If we're being honest, it's just going to sit on my shelf. I'm not going to really do anything with it, so...
And
yeah, I think it's really great that they're doing that.
Yeah. Well, and that is the biggest thing to come out of Nintendo this week. So the Golden Caveman Awards are next.
World News.
That's right.
Yeah, we didn't. No, there's no other story to talk about.
Literally nothing else to talk about.
Last but not least, Nintendo of America themselves. Yesterday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, just shadow dropped. Zero fanfare.
Just in an angry dad moment. Fine!
Plopped it right on YouTube. Have officially announced Nintendo Switch 2. And I gotta tell you, aside from the fact that I don't know anything, and neither do you, by the way, people listening at home, people complaining about what it isn't and what it is, and etc. You don't know. We don't know anything. Here's what we know. What it's called and what it's shaped like. There's absolutely nothing else that we actually know about this system for sure. There are things we can glean from this trailer.
There is one other thing.
Things. What's that?
That I pointed out, and I just want to get this on the record. For anybody who's not in our Discord, the type of hilarious content that you're missing is that in an attempt to clickbait, to rage bait people with headlines, I did notice something very, very troubling about the Switch 2 that we know for a fact, Chris, and that is that the console's tits are not big enough. Because there are none. True. There are no tits on this console.
It does have a surprising lack of human breasts, yes.
And I am tired, honestly, of being told that I'm weird because I want my console to have a comfy pair of tits for which I can hold. Think of the gaming possibilities it opens up. Nintendo tits. Anyway. No, we don't know fucking anything about it. Nintendo? That's pretty good, too. I like Nintendo tits. I like Nintendo. Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Nip 10 tits. All of these are great options. Oh, God, 10 tits. I thought 3 tits in Total Recall was a lot of tits. 10 tits on a... We got 10 tits on a 2-tit system here, Chris. I don't know how we're going to fit the other 8. That's why they made it bigger. The original Switch was a 2-tit system. This is at the very least a 4-tit system.
It wasn't big enough for all the tits.
That's right, liberals. Is that what you want to hear?
This is the future that you wanted.
Is this what you get what you asked for? I think it looks fucking great. I think it looks great. I think anybody... I know what you said earlier, but man, they fucking so they take the Joy-Cons off and they're like, oh, let's put them down on this little desk thingy here, and then let's dangle ever so daintily behind them as we show them moving like mice. Let's dangle the cord, the wrist strap, behind them like a little mousy tail, and then let's see if people are like, no, it's not a mouse. I know that for sure. No innovation from Nintendo ever. It's a fucking mouse. I will fucking eat my hat if it's not a fucking mouse.
Yeah, it is most likely a mouse. I'm just saying.
If it's not a mouse, that is the biggest dickhead troll move from fucking Nintendo ever. Because when I was watching that trailer, I looked at that and I was like, "That's a fucking mouse." They're gonna Super Mario Maker fucking Mario Paint, or Mario Maker 3, or Zelda. Like, there's gonna be something fucking awesome. There's gonna be something stupid with it. Of course, like fucking Mario is missing or whatever. You know, like they're going to do a dumb thing with the mouse, but it's a mouse. You get Mario Paint at some point. Relax.
I hope so. I love the idea of having a mouse built into this thing. I love... All right, look. All I've wanted, and this is 100%, this is 100% accurate. If they had done something completely off the wall, everyone would be bitching that... What? There was nothing wrong with the Switch. They didn't need to reinvent the wheel. Why Nintendo got to be so weird? This is stupid. But since they did this, where they just did what everyone has been asking for ages, I just want the Switch, but more powerful. They did exactly what everybody wanted, and everybody's bitching about it not being weird enough, or not being creative enough, or Nintendo's being lazy, and there's no winning with the internet. But I will say that for me, this is everything I wanted. Because all I want... is the Switch. I want it to be backwards compatible with all my physical software, and it is, with a couple of caveats. They said it's not going to be 100% compatible with everything, and that makes sense because, like, it doesn't have the IR camera, so 1-2 switch isn't going to work. Or it does the new Joy-Cons aren't going to physically fit into the Ring Fit Ring Con as it is. You know, they're just built differently, and that's fine. they'll probably make a new Ring Fit anyway because Ring Fit made $1 bajillion. But all of my old stuff works. It's the same thing. It's a little bit bigger. It's got to be more powerful. Otherwise, what would be the point of the system? That's the point of a system upgrade in the first place, not just making the screen bigger and redesigning the Joy-Cons. Like, it's got to be more powerful system. So that's really all I wanted. But that's the other part of this is that we just don't know anything else. We know, the things that we've heard from the leaks about the Joy-Cons being magnetic. Like, that seems like what we're looking at here. There was rumors about the mouse functionality. That seems to be what we're looking at here. I do think it's really cool that there's a second USB-C port on the top. There's one on the bottom. Yeah, that opens up
possibilities for things.
For using accessories while the system is charging. There's any number of things that could lead to, which is really cool. I think the kickstand looks nice. But we don't know what kind of screen it is. We don't know
how powerful it is.
Can do. We don't know how powerful it is. We don't know if it's what kind of touch screen is going on there. We don't know what connectivity functions it has. We don't know. One of my theories had been cooking for a while is that if you have an original Switch, you'll be able to connect it to this as a second screen experience and use it like a Wii U. I don't know. Is that something that you can do?
That'd be neat. Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that be neat? Who knows?
That'd be neat.
We don't know that Street Pass isn't on this thing because we don't actually know anything about it at all. We know what it's shaped like. We know what it's called. We know there's a new Mario Kart game coming out for it. We know there's an extra button on one of the Joy-Cons, and we don't know what it does. We know that a lot of the mock-ups from third-party accessory companies have had that extra button with a C on it, and in this trailer, the button is blank. So that's very interesting. What does that button do? What is its purpose? I love the way the Joy-Cons stick out. I think is kind of neat. I like the way the colored part juts out. I think the buttons look bigger on the Joy-Cons, which looks nice. They look like they're going to be easier to use. I have my concerns.
I wish it was a D-pad. I wish it was a D-pad.
Yeah,
I know why it's not.
Yeah, I know,
but I
know
wish it was.
I want Nintendo to make... See, that's the other thing. We don't know what else they're going to make. We don't actually know that they're not going to launch with a smaller version, because this is slightly bigger than the Switch. We don't know if they're going to launch with a Switch 2 Lite. They might actually do that, because the Switch Lite's been performing really well, and there's something to be said for a smaller system that can be sold to kids that'll fit in their pockets. So it might launch with one of those. We don't know that. We don't know what color Joy-Con options they're going to be. The way the Joy-Cons connect, that connector that's sticking out does give me some pause. But I also have to imagine Nintendo has rarely made a system with such a glaring design flaw like that. Like the joystick
seems like a break point.
Kind of a different animal. Yeah, exactly. It seems like a breaking point, but like the hinges in DSs, they would break, but after a lot of abuse. Nintendo knows how to make decent enough hardware, I think, generally speaking. They have had their missteps in that department, but they also have had plenty of durability things not be a problem with them. So I'm going to go ahead and trust on that. I like the overall look. I love the name. I think calling it anything other than Switch 2 would have been an absolute mistake. Because I saw somebody saying that this is going to be a failure because they did this with Wii U. They made basically a Wii 2 or a Wii Pro and called it Wii U, and that was a miserable failure. And this is basically just a Switch Pro. So this is also going to be a miserable failure. Number one, you don't know that. You don't know anything about this system other than what it's shaped and what it's called. So shut the fuck up. And number two, that is such a wildly inaccurate, just unfathomably ill-informed position. The Wii, at the end of its lifetime, the Wii brand was toxic. So making a new system that was still called the Wii was fucking stupid.
Yep.
The Switch brand right now is the furthest thing from toxic. It's still selling ridiculously well. We're still selling Mario Kart 8s by the barrel full. The Switch is still performing phenomenally well. That is a strong brand. So calling it anything but Switch something or other would have been dumb. And just throwing a 2 at the end is the most obvious way to combat the confusion of, oh, is this something that adds to my original Switch? Is this just like a new model, like the OLED one? No, this is a new system. End of story. Also, for all the people who are saying it should have been called the Super Switch, it should have been called the Switch Plus or something. Like, even if that looks cool written down, you need to have something that's good to say. This was one of Reggie's points about Wii in the first place. Wii was easy to say. It's a single syllable thing, rolls off the tongue no matter what language you're speaking it in. Switch 2, it works. It physically works to say. It is a smart name, and anybody who's walking around saying that this was a terrible idea or this was a lazy suggestion, this is just the laziest name ever, like, you think they didn't put a ton of thought into this? You think they didn't workshop the shit out of this? You're out of your minds. The video was 2 minutes and 22 seconds long.
Yeah. It's a
so
weird
much thought into this. It's insane to me how much people were just jumping at the opportunity to hate on it, and
it's a weird take.
It's a weird take.
It's a weird take because, like, I don't remember getting fucking waggle controllers with my Wii U. First of all,
no, they worked with it, but they didn't come with it.
No, they worked with it. But to say that the Wii U is just a Wii Pro, it had a fundamentally different controller experience. Fundamentally different. That is just disingenuous nonsense. It just is. That aside, we're seeing it right now with the Xbox, with the One, and the whatever the fuck, like, what the fuck system is the Xbox currently?
My former brother-in-law contacted me asking which Xbox to get for my nephew for Christmas. And I had to explain the whole thing to him of, like, so I need to get the Xbox One series? Like, no. The One and the series are different things. But when you go into the store, you can't just say the Xbox One, because the original Xbox, some people refer to Xbox One. So it was Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series, but there's a 1S, a 1X, a Series S, and a Series X. Those are all 4 different things.
Yeah. Whereas you look at PlayStation...
Real quick, back to the 2s.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, when they launched it, what day is 2 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days from today, from yesterday?
April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Like, come on. They know what they're doing. But, like, you see the Xbox confusion, especially because they sell one game that can play on any of those 4 systems. But sometimes you have to download the thing, or that's all very confusing. Whereas you look at the PlayStation and you have multiple models to choose from, yes, but it's a 4, a 5, or a 4 Pro. I don't even know if you could get a 4 anymore. Like a 4 Pro, a 5, and a 5 Pro. And
but
that makes sense.
Which ecosystem you're in when you look at.
Yeah,
this is PlayStation
4 or 5.
4 games work on the 4. 5 won't go into the 4, but 4 will go in the 5.
4 goes to 5.
All stuff goes in the like
that. That makes sense, and the word Pro makes sense. Like, okay, this is obviously a souped up version. And the reason that Sony uses the word Pro and not Plus and not any of that other shit is because the most successful fucking tech brand in the United States, I think, Apple, has the iPhone fucking Pro. That's why they went with Pro. And the iPad Pro. And then you have a Pro Max. And we know what Max means because it's bigger. Like, these are simple. Reggie was right. These are simple words. You don't... Would Super Switch have been cool for us? Yes. Would we have gotten it? Yes. Would my kids have gotten it? Yes. 'Cause they're my kids. Would a different kid get it? Not necessarily. But they would understand
it's just
it
not
too.
fun to say.
But whether it's fun to say or not,
true. But
the nostalgia of it, you know, is that I understand people's want for that, right? Like I know where it's coming from, but from a basic marketing standpoint, if this is the horse you're backing in the race and you want them to be successful, Switch 2 is the thing. But also, I got to be honest with you. Here's the thing about all of this, is that it could have been called the Switch Fuck Your Mother. And if it has good games on it, people will buy it. And if it doesn't fucking matter what it's called. It doesn't. If it sucks, it'll suck. And people will be like, oh, this sucks, it doesn't have tits on it. Fuck, I'm not buying this.
Damn it. It's here for the tits.
You know what I mean? Like, it just... ultimately, like, all of this hullabaloo over the name, and this is all by design, right? Nintendo has got people talking, all of that stuff, and we have nothing else to talk about. We live in a fucking hellscape. It's whatever. But, like, you know, it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really is all going to come down to the games. And the one game that they showed was the new Mario Kart, which was almost the exact right move. The problem with the Mario Kart that they showed is that too many people didn't realize it wasn't Mario Kart 8.
Right.
Because Mario
there was
Kart
no
8
9
looked so
branding
good.
anywhere.
Yeah, there needed to be something specific on there that said definitively, no, this isn't. Because it was probably obvious to everyone at Nintendo who's working on the game that this is a new game.
Sure.
Because once the analyses started, when people started really looking at it, it's very obvious that it's not Mario Kart 8. Like, even I was like, it's possible that this could just be a like another expansion course. Like, you know, I'm not going to rule that out. But then I looked at the
It would be a weird thing
it.
to show in your Switch 2 announce trailer.
Yeah,
but
and then
it
looked
very
at the
well could have
analysis
been.
But it's definitely not, because the character models are entirely different. They animate differently. It's definitely not a track that's been in anything before. Some of the character designs are straight up different. Like Donkey Kong has a totally new design, which actually looks a lot more like his movie look, which was a redesign they talked about before the movie had come out, that they were trying to like push towards this new design for Donkey Kong that's a little bit more like the original design, which I think is interesting. I think it looks great. He looks super goofy. But yeah, it's definitely not Mario Kart 8. Like 100% not Mario Kart 8. Which is good.
That is a fair point, though, because our Discord is full of the most wonderful super nerds, and we were like, I don't know, is it 8? Like, that's not great.
I wasn't sure either. I was not sure. At first glance, I wasn't sure. It was like, I assumed it was, but I couldn't rule out that it wasn't just more Mario Kart 8, and I didn't recognize the course or something. But no, it's definitely not. So that's great. But they should have done a little bit something more to make sure that was obvious to everyone. Because the problem with Mario Kart 8 is that it's a really good-looking game.
It is. It's a gorgeous game.
There's not much more you can do to the existing Mario universe, right? Because it's not a hyper-detailed universe to begin with. So, like,
it would be things like you're adding particle effects in Rainbow Road of like stars flying and like that kind of shit.
Yeah, like
all of that's cool.
I was watching pointed out that the fire that's coming out after they boost has like a bunch of different shades of color in it now instead of it just being red. Like, yeah, they're adding this stuff, but it's probably all going to be obvious when we're looking at it as a new thing. But you got to beat people over, just like with the 2. You've got to make sure you're beating people over the head with the fact that this is something new. I can't wait to learn more about it. Because look, Mario Kart 8 has been probably the most absurdly successful game ever. Like, it's not the most successful game ever, but its success is absurd. Mario Kart 8 is great. I cannot believe it is doing as well as it is doing. It's insane to me. So
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those like, when we look back on the generations and we're like, what are the definitive experiences on each platform? Mario Kart 8 is a definitive experience on multiple platforms, which is
Switch
wild in and of itself,
which is insane.
Yeah. But it is, I would say, I would argue that Mario Kart 8 is probably the most definitive, ubiquitous experience for the Switch. If you had a Switch and one game, I would argue it's Mario Kart 8.
Chances are, I mean, just mathematically, chances are that's the game you bought.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if you were telling somebody, like, you're getting a Switch and you got to get one game for it, you're going to have the most fun with Mario Kart 8. It is endlessly replayable. Mastering all the courses, mastering all the characters, the different combinations, all the shit you can unlock. It is an incredibly deep game. It's just a wonderful, wonderful fucking game. I adore that game.
So, to wrap this up,
it's going to suck.
I hate
we were right about the Switch originally.
We were right about this. This didn't. I hate that I have to wait until April. But I love that there's now something official in the world. We don't have to rely on leaks anymore. We know what this is. We know what it looks like. It's going to take a while for us to learn more, but who knows what they're going to drip feed us in the meantime. I did sign up for there's a
the experience.
The experience. You can go out and play the thing. The beginning of April, I signed up for it. Hopefully I get picked. I doubt I will. There's probably like bajillion people signed up for it already. So
sure.
But hey, if I'm lucky enough to get picked, that would be amazing. I picked a Friday. Actually, the first slot available because it seemed to work out best. Because if we're going to do something like this, I want to make a whole production out of it. The kids have never been to New York City before. So it's a Friday.
You got to do the thing.
I'd take him. I would keep him home from school. We'd all drive out into the city. We'd go to the Nintendo World store. We'd go to the M&M store. Whatever other wacky shit's out there. Get some sort of good food. Go do the Switch experience, and then leave and get home at a reasonable hour.
Like an adult.
That is my hope. And it would be a Friday. So if we got home at a reasonable hour, I could then just come on the show and talk about what it was like to play it.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
I really really hope we get picked. I'm going to be so sad when we don't, but I still have some ridiculous hope in the back of my mind. Anyways.
As well you should, man.
I'm very excited for
You
Switch
certainly
2.
deserve it.
They did, as far as I can tell, with the exception of flat out calling that a new Mario Kart game. I think they did everything right here. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. If it ain't,
it already looks like Vampire Survivors is going to be on it. They tweeted about it, so chances are awesome. Vampire Survivors is either getting a new native port, or you're just gonna be able to run it better on the Switch too. Which, oh boy, I can't wait to get my hands on this thing.
It needs it.
It does.
It needs to be updated. The power is outdated. Not for everything.
Not for everything, but for
But it's outdated, and I think I put something in the Discord about it. Again, if you're not part of our Discord, you really should be, because I don't post frequently, but when I do, there are some fucking gems in there. Today, I was good today. But the Switch is in danger of becoming laughably outdated. Right? Like, there's stuff that's on there, but there's just, with the way the industry is going, and I'm not saying that, like, Astrobot is pushing the PlayStation to the edge of its limits, but the Switch couldn't run Astrobot.
No, not the way that it looks. And
that it's in danger of becoming laughably outdated, of where, like, I mean, I could get a Switch, it's less money, but nothing's ever going to come to it except for Nintendo games. It's necessary right now.
Third parties like putting things on the Switch, but we're at a point now where we're seeing third-party stuff really suffering because of the limitations of the hardware and them just not even wanting to put the effort in. Even
more than that, what you've pointed out, when Nintendo IP are suffering because of the limitations of the hardware, as in, this new Donkey Kong has horrendously bad load times. The fucking Legend of Zelda.
That's forever.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom had a ton of frame rate issues that even I pointed out were noticeable. I'm not saying they're game ruining, but like Tears of the Kingdom is a phenomenally gorgeous game. It really is. But when you're using the Ultra Hand and you get like 6 or 7 things cooking at the same time, it starts to chug. And I noticed it. It didn't ruin my experience by any stretch of the imagination, but I noticed it. And knowing that the technology exists to make that not a problem, it's time. It is time.
It's time. It's just time. It's 8 years.
We're in the 8th year of this system. It has had a phenomenal run. To say that a new system is unnecessary is insane.
I would agree with that. Insane is maybe a strong take. But I do believe it is necessary. Right? Just for nothing other than the health of Nintendo as a company and brand. You know? Like that to me is the more important thing here. Not necessarily what I want to play, trying to look at it globally because they've made mistakes before where they've been on top and rested.
Yeah.
You know?
And this does not look like resting to me.
No.
This looks like, okay, we have a good position. Let's not fuck it up.
Right.
And if the power of this system is what I assume it's going to be, which is it's going to be a generational leap above the Switch, not anywhere, like it's going to be more in line with the previous generation, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, there's still a lot you can do with that kind of power. There's some amazing looking games on those platforms. And with Nintendo's technical prowess, I can't wait to see what they do with that kind of power.
It's exciting.
I really, 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 really hope that Nintendo understands what happened with Pokemon and does something about it. Like, I hope that they're in a position, because I don't know where their ownership and ability to do things with Pokemon is, but that series needs a fucking intervention as far as how it technically works, because Scarlet and Violet are a fucking mess. Not as much of a mess as Jedi Survivor, but on Xbox One, but not that far off. No game that big should be that much of a mess. But I digress.
Yeah.
Switch 2 looks great. I'm very excited. It's going to be a very long couple of months. And with that, that's going to wrap things up for Week Old News, and that is going to wrap things up for this segment. We're going to take ourselves another break, and when we come back, it is time. It is time, my friends, for our Game of the Year awards. The Golden Cavemans, we'll be doling them out like the caveman dolers we are. Words are failing me. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around.
Like the caveman dolers we are.
Capcom, Philip Summers, and NF Publishing present Hand-Drawn Game Guides Mega Man, an officially licensed strategy guide for the original Mega Man game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This massive book is filled with lovingly illustrated pages, diving deep into the world of Mega Man and strategies to defeat the original 6 robot masters before taking on the evil genius behind it all, Dr. Wily. All new mission briefing pages flesh out the story, and beautifully rendered maps plant the reader firmly in the Mega Man world. Transport yourself to a place between fantasy and reality, past and present, physical and digital. Back Hand-Drawn Game Guides Mega Man today.
Kickstarter campaign ends February 14th, 2025. Back your copy today.
We are safe at home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey.
Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
Do you enjoy the Stone Age Gamer podcast and other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network? Do you wish you could listen to them sooner than the regular unwashed masses? Do you wish you could contribute in some way? Well, then you should check out the Geekade Patreon. Yes, the Geekade Patreon is a wonderful and very much appreciated way for you to help us pay the bills and keep our shows running week after week. As a Geekade patron, you'll get a monthly podcast topic schedule and early access to nearly every show on the Geekade Podcast Network, as well as access to a patron-exclusive monthly show called DC's Amazing Movie Time from the creators of the Weekend Rental podcast. So head on over to patreon.com/geekade and become a loved and appreciated member of the Geekade Patreon team and get early access to shows like the Stone Age Gamer podcast, this week's episode, Turning Tracks, and a whole lot more. See you there. Hi everyone, we're back. We're back. We've got our dress jorts on. We're ready.
Yep,
Raring and ready
100%.
to go. Got our JGLDs in hand. We are prepared.
Always.
Oh God, my ass hurts. Oh. All right. It's time for the 2024 Golden Caveman Awards. This is our annual awards ceremony where Dan and I give out ridiculous awards for the games that we loved and or hated and or whatever the hell else, because this is our show and we'll do whatever the fuck we want.
That's right.
Let's see. I haven't gone through. Do you have your previous winners? Because this is the 10th annual. It's episode 550 and it landed on the 10th annual. Like, how fun is that?
I know. And I should have been better prepared. I have them going back to 2020.
Okay. That's not too bad. I think
when we switched over to the Golden Cavemans was 2020.
Right. Yeah, I have going back to 2014. So what are yours going back to 2020? What were your previous Game of the Year winners?
All right, so Game of the Year 2020 goes to Tsushima. 2021 Psychonauts 2. 2022 and 23 were just the least surprising of anything. 2022 was God of War Ragnarok. And 2023 was Spider-Man 2. And then I will save 2024. Those were my Game of the Year. And then I started in 2021 doing Indie of the Year as well, which I know you hate, but I keep doing anyway because it's my list. In 2021, my Indie of the Year was Death's Door. 22 was Vampire Survivors. And 23 was Sea of Stars.
Okay. Let's see. Going all the way back to when we first started doing this, 2014. I have NES Remix 2. We're in the Wii U era, so there wasn't a whole lot going on for me. 2015 was Super Mario Maker. 2016, AM2R. 2017, obviously, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 2018, Celeste. 2019, Horizon Chase Turbo. 2020, Animal Crossing New Horizons. 2021, Metroid Dread. 2022, Atari 50. And in a stunning upset, 2023 was Sea of Stars and not Tears of the Kingdom.
Such a good fucking game.
Yep. Definitely my game of the year.
So
how many categories do you have this year?
I have 10.
Let's see.
I have 10, and I'm going to be honest, I really struggled this year to come up with different stuff because especially over the last couple of months, I just didn't play nearly as much as I usually do. And certainly not the variety of stuff that I usually do.
Right, and that's fair.
I had other shit going on.
Yeah, all right, well, I have 12, so most of them are, repeat categories from previous years. So I'm just going to jump in here. I'll start off since I have more categories. I will say for my first award is going to be Game That Made Me Unreasonably Happy. Last year was Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This year, Vampire Survivors Ode to Castlevania.
Yeah.
It was just an insane amount of
incredible
content. So well done. That moment where you get the black disc was just, I love you for doing that. And I will always love you for doing that. Just
it's absurd.
From the bottom of my heart, I loved this update so very much. It was masterful, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Good job, game.
I should have put that as like DLC of the year, I think. But I didn't. So, okay. Yeah, it just a fucking incredible amount of content. Vampire Survivors continues to be the best bang for your buck in all of gaming.
Hard agree, sir. Hard agree. All right, what's your first award?
So this is stepping back out of character for a little bit. This is an actual award, and it, for as much as it means, but this is something I'm going to try to do this year. You and I have talked about adding positivity back into the world, and I use a phrase on the show all the time. And I originally heard it. I know he didn't come up with it, but the way that I heard it used the most, and the reason that I use it now because I'm a hack, is because I listen to a lot of Kevin Smith podcasts. And that is the Kevin Smith Spoke on the Wheel Award for positive contributions to the community. Because I love that phrase, just adding a spoke to the wheel. But that award goes to, personally, for me, the listeners of this show. This has been, as I, broke down earlier in this episode, just an incredibly difficult. I have kept the difficulty of this cancer diagnosis and treatment and symptoms and all of that. I have kept most of the gritty details away from everyone. Not denying that it has been hard, but it has been hard. This has not been a good year. It has not been an easy year. And the generosity and love and the gifting of the Steam Deck and the games and the constant support and all of that has just been absolutely incredible and personally meaningful to me. So this year, the Kevin Smith Spoke on the Wheel Award for positive contributions to our community goes to the listeners of the Stone Age Gamer podcast.
Well,
even if you didn't give me shit, there you go, back into character. Even if you didn't contribute nothing, you fuckers. See the difference? One was real, then there was character work. In case we weren't clear.
Crystal. Anyway, I guess it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. I really just kind of spaced out there for a second. I just lost the plot.
It's okay.
It was gone. It's just the spirit left my body.
Just gone. Done. Woo!
Anyway, I'm back for my biggest bunch of bullshit award. This is actually kind of a retroactive one, but also current at the same time. My biggest bunch of bullshit award for this year. Let's see. Last year it went to the final secret level in Mario Wonder. This year it goes to the mech suit battle in the Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked in Sparkster for Super NES. That entire fight is complete fucking bullshit. As far as I can tell, there is no way to skillfully beat that battle. It's just you got to get lucky with flailing your arms around. There is no skill to it. I'm abusing the fuck out of the rewind button, just trying to get past this dreg of a battle. And it's the biggest bunch of bullshit for this year, for all years. It is, bunch of bullshit.
I'm going to add a biggest bunch of bullshit award here. It has just come to me. Lightning has just struck my brain.
Thank you, Bob Hoskins.
That's right. The biggest bunch of bullshit for this year is giving Hatch Tales anything above a 6. Shots fired. I'm going to stand by that. That feels like a bunch of bullshit. I got to be honest.
Didn't feel too good about that my own self. All right, that
just
puts us on even footing there.
That's right. Releasing that game and pretending like it was what you fucking intended is a bunch of bullshit. Just be honest, Jules.
It's got some real serious problems with that game.
If we interview him, it is going to be so hard for me, as an aside. And we're not going to interview him, I don't think.
No, I don't want to talk to that guy.
But if we ever did, do you know how hard it would be for me, you know me, to be like, don't fucking Jimmy me, Jules. You gotta make some calls. You gotta call some people, do it and get the fuck out. Do you know what happens if Bonnie gets home and she finds a bunch of gangsters doing a bunch of gangster shit in her kitchen? I'm gonna get fucking divorced. And it's just gonna be Pulp Fiction for the rest of the show. That's what your review should have started with. Don't fucking Jimmy me, Jules. It's Quentin Tarantino's finest work.
10 out of 10. All right, so now we both have, we can go back and forth here. So I'll move on to my next one. Biggest disappointment, which, I don't love to draw attention to too much negativity, but it is worth pointing out when something is just such a colossal disappointment. Last year's biggest disappointment for me was Air Twister. That was just not a very good game. This year, my biggest disappointment is Star Wars Jedi Survivor for Xbox One. Because nearest I can tell, there is no reason that game can't run perfectly well on an Xbox One. It just doesn't.
They just didn't want to.
They just didn't want to put the effort in.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad. It makes me sad.
That is a disappointment.
Much as I've enjoyed Skeleton Crew, I want to be like full Star Wars mode. Let's play the Star Wars game too, and I just can't get anywhere in it because it's just stopped being fun.
A broken mess.
It's a broken pile of sadness that I'm terrible at. Everything else in my list is positivity. So.
Okay, that's good.
All right, what's your next one?
I think everything else is positive for me, too. This next one is the Outstanding Achievement in a Video Game-Related Podcast, Television Special, or Film. Goes to the winners that won it last year. That would be the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. It's a great fucking show, and I'm proud to be a part of it. We don't get awards from anybody else. I'm giving it to us. It's a good fucking show. It's quality entertainment. Fuck yeah. We deserve it.
We do. I'm gonna wear that award with pride.
As well you should.
The Golden Caveman? I think you can.
I do. Depending on how you manifest it into the world.
Spectacular.
Same winners last year. I don't know. We'll see about next year.
Could be anybody.
Could be.
You never know.
The possibilities, all of these are good choices.
Joe Rogan could be a big upset.
We'll see. I mean, I don't listen to the show, but it's possible. Does he do a video game podcast? That'd be great.
I don't. He's had Elon Musk on, and he's apparently the best video game player of all time.
I mean, to hear it from his mouth, he certainly is.
Oh boy, I purposely avoided that story just because I don't like talking about that guy. But boy, oh boy, I do love it when the video game industry finds a fraud and points it and says, "No, you didn't.
No, you didn't." We can only hope that the rest of his life goes as well as the last person that told us they were the best video gamer in the world. And I don't know if that is inside baseball or not. I don't remember if we brought that to the actual podcast, but Kris knows what I'm talking about, I think, and it didn't go well.
And continues to not go well, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Sad, weird story. Anyway, what you got next?
My next award is... Award, all right, so I guess this isn't totally positive. Award for excellence in the field of mediocrity goes to, you guessed it, Hatch Tales. That game was just such a big part of my life this year, and I wanted to see some degree of positivity, so I wanted to give it an award for being extremely mediocre.
Yeah, aggressively average.
You had something special, and you turned it into something mediocre. And that makes me sad, because the special thing that you had was only going to be great because of its personality to begin with.
Yeah.
You make good games, and that's okay. Good games
bold
are
strategy,
good.
Cotton.
Sometimes
good games are good games.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. You're up next.
This year's Tiffany Ryan Achievement Award for Outstanding Use of Portals in a Video Game, Television, Special, or Film goes to Aperture Desk Job.
Oh, wow.
The first thing we did.
Too.
Yeah. The first little
thing.
Did
not get the award.
Yeah, it didn't win last. Portal 2 did not win last year either. Spider-Man 2 did, because there were portals in it. Right. You know, it's very rare that Portal 2 does not win. But an Aperture Desk Job really is use of portals is negligible at best. Like, it's really not in there, but it's in the universe. It's portal adjacent. It counts. It was such a clever, interesting introduction to the Steam Deck and what you can do with it and how it controls. It just showed why Valve is so good at what they do. When they try, there's nobody better. There just isn't. Like, it's such an incredible fucking tech demo with all of the humor and lore and just everything in there. It's absolutely brilliant and almost worth the price of a Steam Deck alone, which is an insane thing to say because it's like a 28-minute experience and Steam Decks are expensive, but it's just incredible.
Nice.
We'll see. Maybe this year will be the year we get Portal 3.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, we're not.
I'd love
but
it. I'd
maybe.
be happy.
All right, what you got next?
All right, next up. Best remake or remaster. This award for me goes to probably Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. But the only proper remaster that I did play this year was Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which was fine. I hear 1,000-Year Door is a phenomenal game, and this was a great remake. And now that I have it, I'm going to play it as soon as I'm done beating with Undertale. So I'm going to say this probably belongs to this. So there you go. Probably Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door.
Yeah, that seems like a fair award.
Yeah,
a fair award. I support it. And I'm sure they'll be happy to get it. My next award goes to Most Interesting Story I Experienced This Year. And that would be Still Wakes the Deep. The first, full game that I played through on the Steam Deck. Just a wild-ass fucking story. Incredibly well acted. Just absolutely without answering very many questions by the end of the story, unfortunately, still an incredibly engrossing, engaging, well-written, well-recorded, just a really well-done fucking story in this game. For what amounts to a walking simulator, man, did they nail the story aspect of this. And I was just really, really impressed by that.
What was that one again? That's not the car one, right?
No, Still Wakes the Deep is the one where you're out on the oil rig and it's got all the fucking like Scottish Gaelic Irish shit going on. And yeah, a weird fucking story with weird twisted monsters and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, with Pacific Drive, I think I have to get it on the PlayStation. It just doesn't work well enough on the Steam Deck. Which is okay. Like, there's going to be those hiccups.
You need to fix it up, like the car? Like, is it one of those weird meta situations?
Yes.
You have to fix up your Steam Deck? Like, you have to actually learn from the game how to make your Steam Deck more powerful to play it?
That would be really cool. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just, I have to lower the graphical settings to a point where when this game is $20 on the PlayStation Store, it will be worth it for me to have it twice.
Fair enough.
You know, because I do really like it and want to get to the rest of it. But it's a little chuggy, a little broken. And for a game where you're driving around, having chuggy movements and stuff is not great.
No, you really don't. Well, you don't want the chuggy movements. Generally speaking, the chuggy movements are a bad thing. Sorry,
all right, what you got?
1 sec. I have to send an email real quick. Just something. Brain, come on, you can do this, Brain. Mm-hmm. Keep thinking. There it is. Okay, next up for me, best retro collection. This was actually a little bit difficult for me, but then it wasn't, because Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection exists. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics was, in my opinion, the best retro collection this year. We were just talking about this. There were other ones that seemed like it could have filled this void. What was the other one you were talking about?
Oh, we'll get to that, because it actually won my retro collection of the year. But
really?
Interestingly enough,
the MVC for you, huh? Like, Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked is a great collection, but it's no Marvel vs. Capcom.
No, it's not. And I fucking finagle this shit to get the games that I want on here, because the next one on my list is the Fun/Fighting with Family Award, and that goes to the Marvel vs. Capcom collection.
Fair enough. As long as it got an award, it's good enough. Golden Caveman for you.
Golden Caveman, 2 Golden Cavemen for Marvel vs. Capcom. It's that good. I considered giving it Song of the Year, just because fucking Take Me for a Ride is just incredible. But no, I had so much fun in the admittedly limited time that I have spent with this game. I just happened to get it too late into my cycle to really be able to fully appreciate it. But jumping into this game with my kids and having them just be like, why the fuck is that a cactus? Who the fuck is that? You know, like, just going through and explaining these weird ass characters, and them like looking up Blackheart lore on fucking Wikipedia, and Shumagorath and Tronbon, and just Robbie yelled like, why the fuck isn't that bitch wearing clothes whenever Felicia was on screen? Yeah, like, just
she's a cat.
I know. That's what I said. And they were like, well, she could still put clothes on. I said, most teenage boys would fucking disagree with your take here. You know, and then playing the Punisher beat 'em up with the kids. And like, what is this? This is absurd. Just a wonderful, wonderful experience with the family. Just characters that I so deeply love, you know, getting to share that in a fun just incredible fighting game. Just amazing.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, and now we have it.
We do. It's on a cartridge that will never not work. And it's going to work on my next system too.
It's on disc for me. It's not going anywhere. It's good.
Fucking sexy.
We're good. What you got next?
My next award is favorite game not from this year. Let's see. I had one of these last year, didn't I? Session. No, I actually didn't have this one last year. But anyway, favorite game from not this year that I played this year for the first time is going to go to Undertale. Because it's been really fun for me to get through. It's relatively short, so it doesn't feel overwhelming like I'm going to be playing it forever. And I got to play it at the same time as John, who played it a very different way than I did. So we got to kind of like compare and contrast our notes. It's a really fun game with really good music. Yay, Undertale. Yeah,
Undertale, fucking outstanding. I also have a game from a different year. Last year, I had that award as well, a game of a different year. Last year went to Inscription, because just how much I fucking love that. This year, I think unsurprisingly, that award goes to Hades.
Oh, right. Yeah,
just
I loved that.
Absolute fucking masterpiece of a game. I cannot wait to dive back into it fully. Right about the day before my hands really were like, okay, this is uncomfortable and painful now. Like, it was uncomfortable before, but now this actually hurts and might be damaging my hand, like holding it this particular way. I got up to Hades. Like, I fought my dad, and man, did he kick the shit out of me. Like, and got sent all the way back as a motherfucker. Oh my God, I want to jump back in, but I just can't right now. And I legit cannot wait to get back to Hades. It is so fun, so well done. The writing, the acting, the graphics, the upgrades. It's just a wonderfully deep, complex, beautiful game that I cannot wait to get back to.
Are you going to jump into the second one at any point?
Probably, because it's still in early access, right? So, like, when that comes out as a full release, I'll probably jump into that one too. Which maybe that'll be this year. We'll see.
I guess it is still in early access.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about
still
that.
Early access.
It's weird.
Looking at
really, I don't early access.
I did, right? I don't remember when Hades came out. I think it was like 2018 or something like that. I don't remember what my game of the year was for 2018. But it is quite possible that Hades would have given it a run for its money, whatever the fuck it was. Unless it was Spider-Man or God of War that year. Like, I think if that was the year that it was Horizon, I think I might have gone Hades over Horizon. That's how much I like this game. So, anyway. Well deserved.
Good time. Great oldies. The greatest. My next victory, my next golden caveman. Holy shit! I can't even see straight. I'm really losing it over here.
That's all right. We're getting to the end.
Yeah, we're getting there. Now, my next award is for best character, best new character of the year for me. Obviously, last year this went to Garl from Sea of Stars. This year it goes to Stabby McMurderman from Dadish 3D.
It's just such a good name. Stabby McMurderman. That's wonderful.
I'm going to see if I can actually find the, here we go. So Stabby McMurderman is a bowl of cereal.
Naturally.
And when you get to the boss, the dialogue says, "Hi, I'm Dadish. Let me guess," because he goes to all these bosses and he's trying to guess their names because they're based on their appearances.
Sure.
Let me guess. You're a bowl of cereal and you look like you want to kill me. So your name is probably Serial Killer. And he responds, "What an awful thing to say to someone you just met. I'm deeply offended." Oh, I'm sorry. It turns out I'm really bad at guessing. What is your name? Stabby McMurderman.
Yeah, that's fucking great. 10 out of 10, no notes. That's outstanding.
Super angry bowl of cereal. Oh, neat. I'm the first henchman of Cyber Durnak, blah, blah, blah. I figured as much. I'll kill you! And then the boss fight starts. Yes. This is amazing. This is everything I want. This is high art.
100% understood the assignment.
Stabby McMurder.
It's good stuff.
I just love it.
Good
with every
stuff.
fiber of my being. Good work.
My next award is the retro-esque or retro-adjace. Fuck, why did I type esque? Who says esque? The retro-adjace release of the year. Last year went to WrestleQuest. This year goes to UFO 50.
Oh,
what
yeah.
an impressive collection of just everything you could possibly want. I know Rumblemans has sunk hundreds of hours into that game, and it's once you get your hands on it, it's really easy to see why. There are just so many interesting, innovative, fucking clever, cool games. It's an incredible collection of games. And just something I am consistently blown away by. Like every time I fire it up, and I found, I don't know what I did, but my Steam Deck is not tracking the hours spent on games correctly. And it might be because I did some like plugins and shit that might have fucked with that, but whatever. I've put a bunch of time into UFO 50. And it is just a really fucking cool package, man. And there's obviously stuff on there that, like, I've played through it, like, once or twice and been like, this is fine. I spent, like, 5 minutes on it. But then other ones where I've put, like, big chunks of time into. It's just a really, really incredible collection. And just, man, really awesome. Something you would love, Kris. Like, we got to get it for you at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to show up on a platform that I can play it on at some point. I agree. It's probably right up my alley. This next word actually could fit into your category as well, but I called it the best game that didn't get the attention it deserved. And that's going to go to Cash Cow DX.
Okay.
I loved Cash Cow DX. Donut Dodo got a ton of attention. And this was Studio Pixel's follow-up, Cash Cow DX, which I think is just slightly not as brilliant as Donut Dodo. But I think this game is wonderful. I spent a ton of time playing on a VCS, and then I spent even more time playing it on the Switch when it came out. I think it's a fantastic game. It looks and sounds the classic arcade part brilliantly. It's a wonderfully fun game.
That's awesome.
Probably
I have
enjoy this year.
I have not spent any time with that at all, but I am very interested. I love that shit, you know? The next award I have is the Fuck It Took You Long Enough award, and that is Vampire Survivors in the Sony ecosystem. Because that didn't come out until late 2024, and if you were paying attention at the beginning of this segment, Vampire Survivors was my indie game of the year in 2022. It has been a 2-year wait to get Vampire Survivors onto the PlayStation. And it's come to literally everything else. I was playing it earlier on a pregnancy test, which ran it surprisingly well, but came to a clear blue easy before it came to fucking PlayStation. But now that it's there, if you are a PlayStation gamer and you have not played Vampire somehow, and you listen to this podcast and you own a PlayStation and you haven't played Vampire Survivors, message me and I will send you the $5 so you can have it. And don't actually do that because I'm broke, but send me $5. You should absolutely get it. It's amazing.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. It's crazy that Vampire Survivors took that long to get to PlayStation, but at the same token, like, you know, we know why they were building it themselves. They refuse to farm it out. So I approve of that. I'm glad it's there now so that everybody can get their hands on it, because everyone should play
For
Vampire
sure.
Survivor. It's a great game.
Yeah. All right, down to the big three.
Okay. Best idea that went absolutely the fuck nowhere. Nintendo World Championships NES Edition.
Yeah, that's kind of a snarky caveman to give out, but well deserved.
Yeah, I love this concept. I loved my time with this, and then it just went nowhere. Because
and
this
it
is the kind of
done.
thing that, I mean, people are still playing it. They're still doing the weekly challenge, the like worldwide challenge things. They're still doing that, but it's not like it didn't catch on. They're not quite there. They needed to.
It hasn't made a dent. Yeah,
this needed to be one of those things where they added more games week after week. You know what I mean, or like every couple of months. This is the kind of thing,
not even week after week, just something.
This is the kind of thing that really needed to stay alive with free DLC. And I know that's one of those things that people look at and be like, no, incomplete games, selling incomplete games. Like, yeah, I get it. But also, I really think this should have been tied to Nintendo Switch Online. I don't think this should have been a retail product. This should have been like Tetris 99 or something, where if you have NSO, you have this. And then this stuff gets added to all the games that are on Nintendo Switch Online. First and third party, because you can do it at that point. It expands it and it makes it more alive. It needs to be something that continues over time. And that's just not what this was. It's a great idea, and I hope they follow it in some way, shape, or form. But they didn't, or they haven't so far. I mean, anything's possible, but
yeah, no, that is a really good take, I think, on that, because man, I see, and like again, my algorithm is my algorithm and whatever, but like I actively seek out this kind of stuff, you know, of like retro game news and commentary and all of that stuff, and I see just fuck all about this game.
Yeah, it's just not getting,
which is a bummer,
reported on. People are still playing it, but it's a very small amount of people. Yeah.
That's a bummer, man. That is a bummer. Legit. All right. Well, here it is, sneaking it into my collection of the year, and that would be the Castlevania Dominus collection. Because there was just no way. There was no way it was not going to get a Golden Caveman this year. The three games that are on there are just some of the best Metroidvania style Castlevania games you could possibly get. And then the remaster of fucking Vampire Killer is great.
Haunted Castle.
Great. Haunted Castle. Sorry. I'm really tired.
Me too.
It's so good. I was just blown away by this. And, you know, for years, this was something that was brought up in conversation of like, how are you going to do the day they've got touchscreens? You can't possibly fucking, like, well, I have an 80-inch TV. I can fit two fucking screens on it. Like, figure it out, you know? We all have big TVs, even on a smaller screen. It works. They made it work, and it's great.
Yeah, I bet if I had played that would have won my award too. But
it's so good.
Oh,
it's
know.
just so
I've played
good.
Those games before, just it didn't land on my Switch yet. It will.
And like, honestly, the reason, because okay, so let's say that I didn't bullshit my way through it and find a way to get Marvel vs. Capcom on there. As much as I love that collection, Castlevania Dominus collection would have been my collection of the year, because I believe that the three Castlevania proper titles that are on there, and then the Haunted Castle remake is whatever, you know, just bonus. I think those three games are stronger overall games than what's on them. I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I love X-Men Children of the Atom. I love Marvel superheroes. Not as much as I fucking love Dawn of Sorrow. Like, you know, I just don't. It's fine. Yeah. That's why I got to cheat and finagle.
I think you're 100% right, and I'm looking back at the Nintendo Force. I think that's what they put for Best Collection too, is the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, and
I just disagree.
Only because I didn't think of it because I didn't buy it this year. It didn't show up on my list of things that I played. But yeah,
I fucking love those games. I'm so happy, so happy that I have a physical copy, a playable physical copy of Marvel vs. Capcom, because I have a physical copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but a way that I can play it on a modern system, all of that stuff. I'm so happy that I have those.
Oh, never mind.
They
didn't have a retro collection. Marvel vs. Capcom 1, biggest surprise.
I wouldn't disagree with that. That was shocking.
Yeah, that was a very pleasant surprise, too.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of think Emio the Smiling Man was the biggest surprise.
Yes. All right, so biggest surprise that people actually wanted then was Marvel vs. Capcom.
Emio the Smiling Man. What is this? Is this a new franchise? No, it's a new Famicom Detective Club game.
That's right.
I mean, like,
you all wanted that, right?
But what?
Yeah.
It's my understanding that the game is exceptionally great.
I'm sure it is. I did not give a fuck after I played through the demo. It's like, nope, this isn't for me. Which is whatever. Anyway. Two left,
turn,
Chris.
Right?
What do you got?
All right. We're on my runner-up and then Game of the Year. So my runner-up was The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It was a very good game. I had a lot of fun playing it. It didn't quite bring it on home, like and by the end of it, some of the combat just felt pointlessly hands off.
Okay,
but only a little. Like, this is me looking for a reason for it to not be off and on. It was a great game. I had so much fun with it. It was very creative. Had some good puzzles, some nice classic Zelda dungeon designs. Good stuff. I do wish it ran better. The frame rate did occasionally get distracting, considering that this is not a game that's really pushing the limits of graphics. It's just a flawed game engine, and that's really bothersome. But outside of that, really, this is a wonderful, wonderful game. And it was almost my Game of the Year.
All right. What if it didn't have those frame rate issues? Would it have pushed it to Game of the Year?
I don't think so. Just because I liked my Game of the Year that much more.
Right. Okay. Just curious. Well, my I guess it's the runner-up, but I just cheat. My indie Game of the Year is, without, I think, any surprise whatsoever, Balatro.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It is so. Because I loved a lot of indie games I played this year. I loved Animal Well, UFO 50. Like, there's a lot of really good stuff. But Balatro, it walks this line so well of being, when you start to play it, it is the game that you think you bought. Right? I mean, when it came out. Now I think it's kind of understood that it is a roguelike deck building game, right? But when the game first came out and we all bought it, it was like, this is the game. I thought I bought this poker game, and isn't this cool? It's got some different stuff that you do. And then as you work your way through it, and it becomes something entirely different, yet somehow exactly still the same. It is incredible when that switch flips, and it's like, holy shit, man. What a clever, interesting, addicting game Balatro is. And it is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you should not play it, Chris. You should not play it at all.
I don't believe you. I find it to be literally unbelievable, and therefore I don't believe you.
It's great. It's so great.
You're a liar.
All right, well, hit me.
It's on my list. It's on my list. I would like to play it at some point, but
hit me with your best shot.
I have Vampire Survivors out of the way currently. So I'm in the market for a time killer kind of a game. So maybe now's the time.
It's the one. Or Hades, which you already have.
All right, I own it.
Because Hades, you could do a run and then, be like, all right, I see what I got to do next time. Similar to Vampire Survivors. It's like, okay, I see what I got to do. Got it. All right. Next time I'll jump in and I'll do XYZ.
Glorious. Yeah. All right. My game of the year. Favorite game I played this year. I really did go back and forth a little bit on this, between this and Zelda. But the more I thought about it, the more this was the one that brought me the most joy this year. My game of the year was Gimmick 2. I not only love that this exists, I love the soundtrack, I love the spirit behind this game, I love the heart that was put into it, and then the heart that was put into fixing it further to make it just that much better, listening to the feedback. I think it's a beautiful game. I love the way it sounds, I love the way it looks, I love the way it plays, I love the fact that it is Gimmick 2. And I know that there are Gimmick fans out there that felt that this wasn't the game that they wanted Gimmick to evolve into. This is exactly what I would have wanted out of a sequel to such a magical NES game. Mm-hmm. I had so much fun with this game, and I haven't gone back to 100% it yet. I absolutely will, because it's just a joy. This was an odd year. There were no games that were just like absolute megatons. This is 10 out of 10 phenomenal. But this was it didn't have to be. Not every year needs to be that. I played a lot of really good games this year. And as I ran down the list of everything that I played this year, there really wasn't anything that stuck with me quite as much as Gimmick 2 as far as just pure joy while playing it. Like, I was smiling like a doofus while I was playing this game. Like, I loved the new Atari 50
great.
DLC. I thought Tetris Forever had a lot of really cool stuff in it, but it was missing a lot of cool stuff. Same with the Lamasoft Jeff Minter story. It was like, I don't really like these games, but the story's fascinating. I had a fucking blast playing Contra Operation Galuga 4-player with my friends to come up with the review. That was so much fun. The Princess Peach Showtime review that I wrote, where I had all the girls come over and play the game and get all their opinions on it and get their names in the magazine. That was a really fun experience. Cool. But as far as me
not Gimmick
sitting
2.
by myself playing a game and just smiling, I was Gimmick 2. That was it for me. I thought it was a really magical and really special game.
Yeah, I really did try to find a way to get it onto my list while still keeping it at 10 awards. I don't know why I decided to keep it at 10, but I did that last year and the year before, so I just tried to keep it that way. Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. It's a great fucking game.
So what's
not my game of the year, though, Chris?
Sir? What is your game of the year?
I mean, it's Astrobot. It's Astrobot.
I can't even remember. I don't remember you talking about that game on the show.
I haven't, specifically because I was waiting. Because
that makes me so happy. That game is so good.
I've played it a bunch, and I haven't finished it. Like, I'm not going to lie. I haven't finished it. But there was nothing else I played this year that was filled with the amount of love and just this desire to do what I love to do, right? One of the nicest compliments that's ever been paid to me was by my roommate in college, who said that he wished he loved anything as much as I love everything. And that what was so great about that is that Dan always wants to share what he loves with everybody so that they can find something that they love too. And that is my life, like, it's why I try to write about music and beer and video games and wrestling. And I'm reading a book on Teddy Roosevelt right now. Like, if you guys want to talk about Teddy, like, I try to find I don't even try to find. I consume all of these things and I try to spit them back out into the world in a way that somebody hears it and goes, oh, that sounds really cool. And hopefully they find something that they really like, you know? I think it's very much in the spirit of this show when we do things like the Super Series or when we did the Summer Series back in the day of like finding these games, all of that sort of stuff, right? So when I play through Astrobot, I see the love letter that I would write to Sony, right? And you brought it up in the Discord chat of like, do I love Nintendo the way I think I love Nintendo, or like, was it really the more third party stuff? And I'm not entirely sure where I fall on that yet, but it did get me thinking like about. I am very solidly in the PlayStation camp. Right? That is not a surprise to anybody who's listened to this show. And finding all of these characters, these little Astrobot version characters, like, and they hit you right at the beginning. You're like, oh, fuck, it's Solid Snake, it's Psycho Mantis. And just like, and it just goes from there. And it just never lets up with love and care. The soundtrack is incredible. It looks incredible. It plays incredibly well. It is just an absolutely brilliant experience that I only played because one of my dear friends and a good listener to our show, my buddy Mike, sent me the PlayStation gift cards because he knew I was feeling shitty and feeling sick, and I bought that game because he sent me the money for that game, and I fucking love every second of it. My kids love it. My wife loves it. The dogs are just enthralled every time it's on. The cats all sit at attention. The mouse is like, let me out so I can fucking see what's going on. It is just an absolutely brilliant experience that I hope it comes to PC at some point. I hope it comes to Switch and Xbox as well, but I hope it at very least comes to PC so more people can play it. It's just a perfect love letter to everything that's great about PlayStation games and the last however many years of awesome experiences.
It's a fantastic choice. I'm so glad that you had played it.
Yeah. And as I'm going through the year playing it, I'm like, I'm not going to talk about this game because I want there to be some mystery this year. I want there to be a little bit of mystery in what my game of the year is going to be. Because last year, of course it was Spider-Man 2. Of course it was. And
I mean, it really shouldn't be all that surprising. You do love platformers. As you've proven this year, 3D platformers are your jam.
Apparently they fucking are. I don't know. I'm discovering things about myself. This is a safe space. You know, but of course Spider-Man 2 was my game of the year. Of course Ghost of Tsushima was my game of the year. God of War Ragnarok. Guess what this year's game of the year is going to be? There's a couple contenders, but it's probably going to be Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. Most likely. Right? Anybody who listens to the show, it's either going to be that or Death Stranding 2. But they're both Kojima games. So, yeah. You know? Duh. So I tried to hold a little bit back this year. I feel that I've done so.
I appreciate you giving us a little something extra, a little something to contemplate. It was a mystery. I really didn't know where you were going. I didn't think, because you didn't mention it at all this year, I really thought Astrobot just kind of wasn't for you. But then I remembered how much you love platformers, and it made all the sense.
I do really, really love game platformers. I tried to hide it, but I can't. It's out there in the world now.
Not anymore. It's too much a part of your personality. It's who you are.
It's who I am.
Except Mario.
So fuck that guy. Apparently. Fuck Mario. I make car parts for the American man, Chris. So that's who I am. That's who I care about.
Well, I think that does it. I think we did it. I think we...
That's it.
We did a show. We did the Golden Caveman Awards for one more year. I cut that one a little too short. I'm trying to make the episode art, and I cut Astrobot a little too short. So I'm gonna move him over just a skosh. I'm gonna make that just a little bit sexy. There we go. I watched the movie Paint for the
was that good?
I'm gonna say yes. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure that I would go so far to say that I really enjoyed it because it was good per se, but it was very entertaining.
Okay.
It's extremely weird and also a lot more biographical, well, closer to biographical for Bob Ross than I expected. You know, learned a lot about Bob Ross after watching that movie. And realized that he was a weird dude. He was a weird dude.
He did. It's weird to think of him as a drill sergeant. Really is.
Yeah, but here we are. No, I thought it was really good. I think you should watch it. I think that if you're interested in a weird ass movie where Owen Wilson effectively plays Bob Ross, then this movie will have something for you.
All right, I will check it out.
It's a hell of a sentence I just came up with there.
It is.
Oh, all right. Well, we did it. That's it. That's another year behind us. That is our show. Thank you very much for listening, every one of you. Thank you for putting up with how tired me and Dan are as we trail off into the distance of making sense. Join us next time for our annual 2025 preview show. Dan and I will be talking about all the upcoming games that we know about that we're excited for. I always love doing these shows. It's fun to have a bunch of stuff to look forward to, and I do have a lot of things to look forward to this year.
I do too, man. There's a lot coming out for me. I just remembered that Ghost of Yotai is coming out too. So maybe it's not so cut and dry.
Switch too. Maybe it's going to be maybe this is the Silk Song year. Who knows?
Oh, get the fuck out of here. God damn it. Why would you do that to me? It's going to be a Switch 2 launch title exclusive. I got to buy it.
Something. I think they tweeted a piece of chocolate cake on the day that the Switch 2 was announced. So like,
fuck off. That's not enough. You fucking cunts.
We're on most social media platforms. If you want to get in touch with us, we are very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes. You'll see links to our social media accounts as well as all manner of other fun stuff like a link to our namesake, stoneagegamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That is it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.